Welcome in. Our college football campus tour continues. We're live from the perch just outside of UAB head football coach Trent Dilford's office, overlooking practice as it is in the closing minutes of this practice. Landry Roberts along with Pat Smith, Molly Robinson along momentarily. Conrad Van Order back with us next week. But Pat, hard to believe it, has heard voice guy. 8 days.
8 days.
Until the start of college football, which is wild.
8 days away, absolutely. Now, we are excited to be here. It's kind of a tradition for us. So we head over to Sanford. We come over to the south side and watch some football. And, man, it feels like football, smells like football. It's hot like football, all wrapped into one.
I was telling our buddy Ted Feely as we were walking up, we had to come through the players' locker room. And I said, yep, it's officially here. I smell it. Which, by the way, I will give a kudos to UAB in their locker room. Coach Dilfer puts an emphasis on keeping that locker room clean. That might be one of the best-smelling locker rooms that I've ever smelled when people are actually using it. We'll call it in-season locker room.
Yeah. It was fascinating watching them doing some drills. Obviously, they're just in shells and going through some things because we are very close and you don't want any injuries, these non-contact type deals. But we've got Auburn on the practice field down on the plains, so we will try to get you an update a little bit later in the show as they scrimmage for the second time. There's been a lot of discussion. We played the audio yesterday afternoon of Hugh Freeze talking about offensive play calling, so we'll see how the offense percolates this morning. Then tomorrow at Bryant-Denny will be the second scrimmage. It'll be the first official scrimmage in which Ty Simpson is QB1 for the Alabama Crimson Tide. But we start this morning with some breaking news coming out of Michigan as the NCAA, they will officially release the report coming up at 11 o'clock, but we already have reporters from both ESPN, Yahoo, On3, a lot of folks already reporting that Michigan is going to receive a significant financial penalty because of the Connor Stallion sign stealing scandal. They're going to expect to pay $20 million over the course of the next 2 seasons, and if anybody knows, I think that would probably take them about 5 minutes on a phone call to raise that $20 million to pay that fine.
Who you call your guy, Ross? Or
you call Ross down in South Florida.
Barstool Dave?
All those guys. Or, heck, call Underwood, the quarterback. He's got it.
Heck, you can call you can call Yaxel Lindeborg. He can give you part of it.
Yeah, they got plenty of money up there. But, yeah, they're going to be hit with $20 million fine. And they're also going to lose postseason football revenue for the next 2 seasons. Sharon Moore is going to be given an additional game suspension, which is expected to take place in 2026. So he's already slated to miss 2 games this year, but he's going to have to miss the first game of the 2026 season. The NCAA Infractions Committee is sanctioning former head coach Jim Harbaugh a show cause of 10 years. 10 years. And Connor Stallions is going to have a show cause of 8 years. Not really sure who in their right mind would hire Connor Stallions.
Well, some high school in Detroit.
Well, yeah, but he's free to do that. He just can't at an NCAA-sanctioned institution. Also, the NCAA is going to levy, as I mentioned, Denard Robinson. Remember, he was on the cover of, EA Sports, college football? He got a 3-year show cause.
Okay.
So all these guys are getting hit with stuff. So the biggest storyline coming out of this, Michigan was scared to death that they were going to have to face a postseason ban this year. That's not going to happen. It's interesting because back in the summer when they were meeting with the infractions committee, a lot of schools now, when they get in trouble by the NCAA, they do this where they negotiate before the hammer comes down, kind of a plea deal.
Yeah.
If you think back what happened at Tennessee a couple years ago, Tennessee, they self-imposed a postseason ban. This was during the Jeremy Pruitt stuff. But then they were fined $9 million. But they weren't given an additional postseason ban. They were trying to do everything they could to not get that second year. So they paid $9 million. They got it negotiated. When Michigan and the NCAA met back in the summer, they negotiated, and it did not go well. So Michigan that's why the Big Ten commissioner sent a letter trying to get in their corner and try to say what they did. And at the end of the day, today at 11 o'clock, it will become official, but all indications are that they will be eligible for a bowl game.
Well, Michigan going back to Jim Harbaugh, his statements, I can even remember one of the chancellors there at Michigan, pretty defiant and outspoken when it came to the allegations and what was directed. So, these days, I guess, hit them where it hurts the most, and that's in the pocketbook. And all of these schools, and I know that they have wealthy donors there, Michigan's going to be fine, but it still stings a little bit. Now you've got to replace however many dollars. I'm looking at total operating revenue for the 2024 season for it says their football program, but $210,652,287.
Yeah.
10%, that'd be significant, right?
Yeah, Michigan will be put on 4 years probation. Basically, as you just mentioned, I think that's 10% of the football team's budget based on the fines. The fines equivalent to a loss of 2 postseason bowl game revenue. 25% reduction in football official visits. 14-week prohibition on recruiting comms, meaning they can't communicate with recruits, whatever. I think we all knew this was going to happen, but I guess when you see it in black and white, you go, well, yep, it's official. The NCAA is officially dead. So you can cheat, you can do whatever you want to do. And you know what was going to happen? If they would have given them a postseason ban, so forget about the money, but if they would have given them the postseason ban, they would have been in a courtroom this afternoon filing a restraining order and suing the NCAA. That's exactly what Michigan would have done if they did not get this, what was going to be announced at 11 o'clock.
But to me, Pat, the postseason ban doesn't seem near as significant now as it did when Auburn and Alabama were dealing with it.
Well, it's not, but especially now when you're turning over those rosters so quick, you're not going to have players that's going to stick it out.
No.
And so that's the death knell. If you're told, hey, we can't play in the postseason, those guys are in the transfer portal. They're gone. They don't want to be a part of that.
I mean, we kind of view it as college football playoff college football in its entirety, and doing what we do. We look at it as college football playoff or bust now. So if you take away Michigan going to the Gasparilla Bowl or wherever, is that really going to resonate? I think that monetarily, if you hit them financially, it's about all you can do these days. That or just reduce the amount of scholarships that they're able to have. To me, the NCAA in this ruling, I guess it could have been steeper fines and it could have been longer probation, but this is more than I actually expected.
Well, keep in mind, like when they fine you, because that's basically what it is, it does not go against. Remember back in the old days, you could take away recruits.
Yeah.
Like you could say you can only sign 20 recruits this year as opposed to the 25 maximum limit. That was the old days. Now, when they fine you, they're not taking that away, the $20.5 million that you can pay the student athletes, because that's part of the House settlement. So you can't touch that. So that's why this is a fine, and it has nothing to do with what you're paying the players. So that's why they can make a phone call to a rich alum, get that taken care of, and it's, again, this is nothing but a slap on the wrist.
I don't know if Jim Harbaugh ever planned on coming back to college football, but it looks like he will have to be a lot longer in the tooth when he does, if he chooses to. But Connor Stallion's getting 8 years. They should have just banned him.
I know.
Lifetime ban, right?
Why not? I mean, if someone's going to be a sacrificial lamb, just
let
go
it
ahead
be
and do
that
it.
guy.
Absolutely.
A guy who boasted, went on a Netflix documentary and documented and bragged about this scheme, this system that he had. What he's doing today.
I read where he was crying like a baby. He was bawling like a baby in front of the NCAA Infractions Committee in the summer.
Good.
He just could not believe this was happening, and that nothing should happen to his great university, the University of Michigan. Nothing should happen. Don't penalize them.
I wonder if the Naval Academy has disassociated themselves with him. Maybe we can find out when UAB travels up there.
What a dude. But anyway,
he's something else.
That is going to be the bigger story that you're going to see hitting your timelines on social media over the course of the next hour or so. But it's pretty much official now in regards to the people that are reporting what is ultimately going to happen to Michigan and the NCAA. So I'm sure the people in Columbus, Ohio are really happy today about this.
This is a win. You celebrate this in Columbus a little bit.
Ann Arbor, they're having a parade. I mean, they're having a great time. People in Columbus probably not too happy. But we are live at UAB Football right outside Coach Trent Dilford's office. He will be one of our guests coming up on the show. Also, Wimp Sanderson in his typical spot, brought to you by Craneworks at the bottom of the hour. Eli Inennis, UAB linebacker, he'll join the program. Steve Russ, the brand-new defensive coordinator for the UAB Blazers. He'll be along in the 12 o'clock hour. Javon Jackson, Solomon Beebe, two other UAB players. They will stop by and talk to us about fall camp. Alex Mortonson at 1:30, the famed offensive coordinator for the UAB Blazers. He was in Tuscaloosa for a number of years working with the Tide. He's been here his third year here at UAB as their offensive coordinator. So we've got a jam-packed show on tap for you today, live from the South Side, and you probably will hear in the background police sirens, dumpsters, trucks, just all sorts of fun stuff, and even a slip and slide that is going on.
What in the world? Okay, this is ball security drills. Isn't it ball security drills? Or is this just have fun after practice? They got a slip and slide.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any footballs involved. Well, now here goes. Someone's got a football. Here we go.
Oh, that guy went down hard.
Yeah.
Probably just hurt his shoulder. No, hurt his head.
Oh, yeah. I guess that is ball security drills, right?
That's what it looks like. That's Eli. He's going to be joining us later on.
Yeah.
Oh, Hatchie's on.
Yep. Tell by the hair.
See, he had a more controlled slide. I don't know. Would they be mad if I turned the camera around for our people watching on Jox TV?
No, I mean, you're not. Yeah, go ahead. The people watching on Jox get
I mean, I know Dilford would love to show this.
Yeah.
But there's a good shot of it off in the distance.
Look at that. That's how a quarterback goes down.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
exactly how a quarterback's supposed to slide.
Yep. Feet first. So
okay. Shirts are optional. We got a maybe an offensive lineman.
There we go.
That's about to step into the. See, it's not all bad.
No.
It's fun. When's the ice cream get here?
Yeah, we need some ice cream.
We had music earlier. We need ice cream to go with the slip and slide.
Yep. So yeah, it is almost here. We're excited that we are here. We will talk a lot of UAB football. Wimp Sanderson is going to join us at the bottom of the hour, so it should be a good afternoon here at UAB. You know, school's back in session. It's time to roll into the new season in style with Courtesy GMC. Brand new pricing. Get up to $17,000 off a GMC Sierra 1500. Save up to $13,000 off powerful Sierra 2500 HDs. I've owned a couple of the Yukons, and, you know, the SUV just outperforms every other SUV in its class. Save $5,000 on every Yukon, Yukon XL, and the all-new Acadia. Plus, every new GMC comes with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's peace of mind that will last you. Hurry into Courtesy GMC in Trussville this weekend, where Courtesy's got the lowest prices in the Southeast. Check them out in Trussville right off of I-459 exit 32 or online at courtesybirmingham.com.
All right, so we got the premise of the drill for the water slide or the slip and slide. It was to teach quarterbacks how to slide, but now everyone has joined in the fun.
Now everybody, the lineman, is understanding how to pick up a fumble in the correct way to fall.
You never know. Maybe that's going to be their heavy set, goal line set.
Yeah, possibly so.
That looks like a lot of fun. Get in there.
Ennis has gone through twice. You got a linebacker that's gone through twice on the sliding drill.
Eli's a good dude. All right, we continue. We are live here from fall camp.
Slip and slide.
The pavilion on the campus at UAB. Trent Dilford, others along. Jam-packed show here on this Friday. It's three-man front. We are Jox.
And it's 10:17. Welcome back to Three Man Front on this Friday. Coach Wimp Sanderson, he will join the program at the bottom of the hour. A little bit later on in the program, we'll talk to Trent Dilford, the head football coach of the UAB Blazers.
Well, as we know, the Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand now for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go and find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com.
So we're just telling you about Michigan and what's going to be the official release by the NCAA. More details have been coming out, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but this is just funny. So it's a 74-page NCAA report. Connor Stallions, the person that supposedly came up with the sign-stealing scheme, he called the advanced scouting scheme as both counterintelligence and the KGB. He also admitted in the report that he threw his phone in a pond to get rid of the evidence.
Okay.
So, there you go.
Go back to KGB, though. What did you say about the KGB?
That's what he was calling it. He was calling it counterintelligence and also called it the KGB.
Oh. He's a different dude.
If you have not seen the Netflix documentary and the interviews with Connor Stallions, he is definitely an interesting individual, to say the very least.
Yeah, he is. He's done a lot for Michigan in his hopes to get him a national title. I guess he got him that national title, and he will pay his 8 years penance.
And I've been getting some people, they've been texting me, and they've been asking me, why did the NCAA not give them a postseason ban, at least? I think we all agree it was the likelihood of them taking away their national championship that was really never on the table. But why did they not get a postseason ban? According to the language and what the NCAA is releasing in the report, the panel determined that a postseason ban would unfairly penalize student-athletes for the actions of coaches and staff who are no longer associated with the Michigan football program. Oh, excuse me, NCAA. Can you explain that to why Auburn and Alabama both were put on probation many, many years ago, and those players were punished? That had nothing to do with it? Very interesting. They use that language. But in this litigious society now in the NCAA, they lose every lawsuit, and I guess they assume they would lose that one too. So.
Well, not that we could discount it, but again, outside of a college football playoff berth, I don't think we have Michigan in our college football projections this season at least.
No.
Maybe that changes next season, but outside of that, how much was a postseason ban really gonna impact that program, grand scheme of things?
So this morning on Morning Jox, I was on with Damien for a few minutes, and we were talking about, a lot of people were calling in and texting into the show talking about what Hugh Freeze said yesterday. He was trying to clarify the whole situation. Nick's first down, Freeze second down, Austin third down. And this is a direct quote. He said, Derek Nix is the offensive coordinator, and he does all the planning and scripting as in charge of the game plan. But, man, there's no staff where there's not a collaboration on the plan. Austin kind of leads in the third down plan. Other than that, Nix leads the charge and has the play calling duties, with me reserving the right to overrule the call. End of quote. So by that statement, how do you read that? Do you think that kind of settles down all the people that are criticizing Auburn for doing that?
I think it does. I go back to what Rob Pate said yesterday on the show, and maybe just not speaking out of turn necessarily, but not clarifying everything, and we're hanging on to every single word and taking it as gospel, and that's what we do when you have a coach, especially in his position, do a sit-down, know that it's on the record and say what he said. But yeah, I think it does. But for the folks that have been saying, and we've gotten a couple of texts, oh, well, this is common knowledge. If it's common knowledge, then why is everyone just now reacting to it?
That's my feeling.
And if it's common knowledge and it's common practice, then why do you? Well, I mean, you can say what you want about Lane Kiffin, but why are coaches going? Well, ask Trent Dilford about it when he sits down with us.
Yeah, he'll be very, very honest, very forthright.
I know there's a collaboration with he and Alex Mortonson, but is there another coach that we don't know about? A mystery play caller? on third down or the down and distance and nobody else wants and they want somebody to blame.
I've seen you during the games kind of sneak over there and jot something down on a piece of paper and kind of secretly hand it to one of the offensive coaches.
Not during a game. I might have done it during breakfast. Have you thought about this? I'm just saying it could work.
So the other big story yesterday, and we talked about it, how a very young reporter for the student newspaper, he was at practice yesterday, and he's got video evidence of Hugh Freeze throwing his visor. That became kind of an interesting side story yesterday. Here's Hugh Freeze meeting with the media discussing the infamous throwing of the visor.
Did you catch me throwing my visor?
I did, yes.
Yes, yeah. I've got to calm down sometimes with quarterbacks, but you know, when we have, again, it goes back to when we have the right thing called, the expectation, and I think it's a reasonable one, is we execute it. And now, if we haven't coached it well enough when we get in there, maybe that's the case. I'll ask the quarterback staff, what did we tell him? Because we got him wide open and we don't throw the touchdown. And that's frustrating as heck. You know, when you it's hard enough to score in this league and in any game, really, but, man, when you finally have one that's called right, you want to see us execute it. And that was the frustration.
That was Hugh Freeze yesterday talking about the infamous visor throwing situation. And I said this morning on Morning Jox, I want my football coach to get pissed off at practice if things don't go good. I mean, how many times did Nick Saban choose somebody out?
Right.
I don't know if he ever threw his floppy hat. I mean, I've seen a lot of videos where
He's thrown the headset before on the sideline.
Absolutely. So
no, that's fine.
Him throwing his visor, I don't.
He's allowed to get mad.
Absolutely.
He didn't go and punch somebody in the face.
No.
That's news.
No, he didn't go Woody Hayes on somebody.
No. And he got upset. There was an opportunity there. All of this is going to sort out, but I think that this is a common theme that you hear throughout camps. It's not specific to Auburn. I'm sure that Alabama, in some way, shape, or form, they're dealing with this, whether it's, hey, Kane Womack saying get more turnovers, or certain times guys miss assignments. Same at Auburn, same here with Trent Dilford and UAB, and we'll talk to Coach Dilford about that. But this is what you get. You're learning all that you can about your team before you go and suit up, and then it's too late because the weekly schedule, you don't have time to do all of this.
No.
And figure things out. If you're having to figure things out during the season, it's typically not good.
No, and I have no issues whatsoever with a coach showing emotions like that. And
let's show the warts right now. Or is it just this is the expectation, we've been really good, but I don't want these guys getting complacent?
Yeah, very much so.
It's hard to read these guys.
Is that old tree leaning too close to your house? Don't wait for the next storm to make that decision for you. Call Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4443. Your trusted local experts in fast, affordable, and professional tree removal, trimming, and cleanup. Licensed, insured, ready to handle any job, big or small. Call Golston Tree Service today, 205-337-4443. Golston also offers 24-hour emergency tree service. When it comes to your trees, don't risk it. Call Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4443.
The coach, Wimp Sanderson, always a fun visit with Coach. He joins us next, courtesy of Craneworks, as we're live from UAB underneath the pavilion. Practice just wrapping up. Coach Dilfer and others along the way. But Wimp is next, 3-man front on a Friday on Jox. 10:29, Landrum and Pat, three-man front live here from the UAB campus underneath the pavilion, just outside of head coach Trent Dilford's office. Blazers wrapping up another fall practice. College football season just 8 days away. We're going to talk to Coach Dilford in just a little bit. Always tell you about our friends at Mystic Beverage. It is great sparkling spring water that is infused with all kinds of goodness. Whatever mood you're trying to achieve, if you're trying to elevate that vibe, maybe you're like me and you go with the Lift blend. It's got the green coffee bean extract in it. Folks, everybody that I've turned on to this has loved it. Michael, one of our great Jox listeners, he actually went and bought out all of the stock of the Piggly Wiggly stores here locally. That's where you can find the product. MysticBeverage.com. Whether you're trying to have that pick-me-up late in the day with the Lift, with the green coffee bean extract, you want to mellow out just a little bit, they got something for everybody. 4 delicious flavors to choose from. MysticBeverage.com. Blount County, Alabama. Love those guys. Appreciate their partnership.
So we are just about 8 days away from the start of the college football season. We're live today at UAB Football. They just wrapped up practice. We will talk to Trent Dilford coming up a little bit later in the program. We've been telling you about the Michigan situation in which they're not going to get a postseason ban because of the Connor Stallions situation, but they are going to have to pay a $20 million fine. Also, Sharon Moore, he was given an additional 1-game suspension. He's going to take a 2-game suspension this year, 1 game in 2026. But I keep reading through this 74-page document, and I'm just finding continued just hilarity when it comes to Connor Stallions. Stallions' counsel, this is officially from the NCAA report. Stallions' counsel, they were also very hostile at points during the in-person infractions hearing. The panel understands the role of advocacy in the NCAA's peer review infractions process, but it is disappointed by the conduct of Stallions' counsel. Their approach was not reflected of a civil decorum required and expected by the COI and the membership. However, that conduct in no way affected the panel's decision-making in the case. So you give him an 8-year show cause, and then you take a shot at his representation for not the civil decorum that is required.
Yeah, so that I'm just imagining you've got some pit bull attorneys, and they go in there and they use language that they typically don't hear in those settings.
Yeah.
The panel, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining Joe Pesci.
I am too.
His character.
Yeah.
And My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah. At a small local courtroom somewhere.
Walking in with your high-dollar suit.
Yep.
And, yeah, being the, you know what, in the punch bowl.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Each and every week at this time, we get an opportunity to catch up with Coach Wimp Sanderson, brought to you by Craneworks.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Wimp Sanderson on Three-Man Front is brought to you by Craneworks. Lift it, buy it, rent it. The big dog's got it. And now, Wimp Sanderson.
And the coach joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Coach, my Braves take on your Indians.
Yeah, well, the Indians can't. The Indians are a lot better than Braves. We're just 6 out, and our league is not as good, but I brag on it anyway.
Well, we'll let this weekend decide who's better, Coach.
Yeah, no, we've already decided that Braves could they could play an inter-squad game. They both lose. And what you talked about today, it is what it is. They got out of being penalized for not playing, having the right to play in the NCAA in the football playoffs. So that was a good thing. They'll get up to $20 million. It won't take them long to get that up. What they do though is they go in and show a fussing and ridiculous scenario about why they did it, not why they did it, but trying to defend themselves. And so when you do that, and Pat or one of the random drive, whichever one said it, that may have helped a little bit in far as I may not. I don't think it added anything to it as far as the penalty is concerned. I don't know if the committee met. The committee's trying to do a better NCAA job of getting people penalized now than they have in the past. So that may be correct. So any way you slice it or cut it, I've done a good job. Then I think that's what happened. I think it was good. I got something else when you get to. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you, Coach. I think we all agree. We did not anticipate the NCAA. It's a neutered organization now. It's not like it was 10 years ago. I mean, they if this would have happened back when you were coaching, Coach, and there was a school that was found cheating like Michigan did, they would have had the book thrown at them. I mean, how many times did they go after Jerry Tarkanian for ridiculous things? I mean, this is just – I know this is the way of the world in regards to the NCAA, but – in your mind, what should the NCAA have done with Michigan in this particular case?
Well, they should have maybe penalized them for not being able to play for 1 year.
Right.
If they wanted to. They didn't want to mess up college football because college football, regardless of what y'all think, is hurting a little bit when you look to the right, see ACC, and when you look to the left, see the Big 12. You're not quite as good there either place. You don't familiarize your teams with the Big 12 the way you should because you got a lot of teams. And ACC, of course, has the Clemson and LSU game, which is a big deal. But outside of that, college football is taking a little bit of a hit. I want to mention, and I don't want to get on here and talk too much that people say I do, and some people say I don't. I think it's a mistake to announce what you're going to do publicly with your offense, the way Auburn has done. I'm not trying to go back to the things that were done when I was a coach, but I'll go back and tell you that when I passed by Coach Bryant's office, Mal Moore was showing him what they need to do offensively before they had staff meeting, and defensively the same way. He wasn't in the X's and O's as much as Nick Saban was. So you get that scenario there. When you end up showing publicly who's going to do what, then I think you hurt yourself. I think it's better off to do it the way you want to do it. Generally speaking, here's what happened last year, and here's what's going to happen this year. You have an offensive coordinator. You have a guy beside him. When the team goes on defense, they talk a little bit about what they need to do offensively or what they have done. At a time period, Taylor and the board will chime in to these two publicly as to what he might want to do. That's the way that works. So it's the two guys in there, the offensive coordinator, the new one, the assistant offensive coordinator, and the head football coach, who is offensive minded. Now, Coach, I'll say this, and I'll let y'all talk. Nick Saban was offense and defensive minded. Coach Bryant was offensive and defensive minded, but he lets you do it. And if you did it wrong, he got somebody else. Okay, that's what I want to say.
Coach, how do we decipher with this coach speak? Because you poor mouth your team. You said about you went out of your way not to talk great about your team. How much of this do you believe is real concern with these staffs and they come out and they talk about this, or how much is this trying to light a fire in other guys?
Well, I think that we talk about Alabama and Auburn, and I studied this thing trying to come up with blue play. You don't poor mouth your team to the point that everybody's all down in dumps. You put some ifs in there. If we're able to run the football, we need to. If so and so, we got a brand new quarterback. If he's capable as we think he is, but you if it some. We really feel good about our team, if you can say that. Most of the time, I think the coaches do that. But I think you if it a little bit. I don't think you. I think it's great to be picked last. Everybody wants you to be picked first. I don't give a crap when I'm picked. Where am I when the season's over? That's where I want to be. And so that's the way I did things. I tried to be honest. We had good players that play. If my guys played hard, it was my responsibility. If they didn't play hard, whatever you run offensively against the defenses that Florida State or Baylor will play is important. But who runs it as well? Who's running the ball? That's important. The offensive coordinator at Alabama nobody's ever happy with him. Forget that.
Coach Wimp Sanderson joins us each and every week, brought to you by Craneworks. So, Coach, what are you hearing in regards to Alabama football? Scrimmage number 1 in the books last weekend. Scrimmage number 2 coming up tomorrow. No big surprise, Ty Simpson named QB1.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think from what I can understand, I don't know exactly. You two guys are better than I am about the running backs. But I think offensively, you've got a smart quarterback who hadn't played a lot, but he knows what he's doing. Your opponent's got a talking quarterback who ran out on his team. Their defensive back got in a fuss with the one of the coaches, and they suspended him. And you need a defensive back against any quarterback that you play. I think Alabama having all their players back. Some people say, yeah, because they're soft. Now, I think, yeah, because they're enjoying playing there. You've got to enjoy what you do. And I think they've got a good coaching staff, and I think they're going to play well. On the Auburn side, I think they have a chance to be better than you think. I listen to what Greg says all the time on one show. And they're going to be a little bit better than we think. The offensive line's got to block. Defensive guys at both Alabama and Auburn have got to play better than they've been playing. And so I think the biggest thing for you two, and I wish you'd comment after I hushed, is the home field advantage. Is Florida State, I said on my show today and got busted for it, Florida State is not LSU and it's not Clemson. You both of y'all can react to that for me if you don't mind.
You're 100% correct.
No, we agree with you 100%.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard your show the entire time each time I try to listen every day, but I just don't think it's LSU, and I think I think if you get off to a decent start, which is important, that they may be eating popcorn or going to the sorority house. So I think they're going to pick sorority girls Sunday, and they're over doing all they can do. They're lined up to squeeze them already. So I don't know. I just think and when you go to Baylor, you don't know what to expect. I think it's a tough game. I do not like Auburn's schedule as well because I don't like, and you're going to laugh at this, I don't like A&M and Arkansas stuck in there before they play Georgia if they could get by Baylor. Just me.
No.
I don't like it. I don't like to play anybody I think is going to beat me.
For this particular Auburn team, you don't want to put too much emphasis, but I don't know. My gut tells me that this first game, Coach, for Auburn, for those guys that have absorbed the last 2 seasons, winning 6 games in the first, 5-7 last year, that for their confidence, for this team's swagger and moving forward with that tough schedule that lies ahead after Waco, this is a must-win game.
I agree with you. I think it is. I didn't want to say that because I don't want to hurt anybody at Auburn particularly, but I think it is. I think it is mentally. I think it is. I don't know about physically. I think that there are some analysts who are smarter than I am have picked the quarterback at Auburn as the most surprised player in the SEC this year. Wow, what a pick. I don't know where it came from, but it came from somebody. And he's going to be the surprise of the league. Naturally, we're in a league that has 3 quarterbacks that have not played any for the first 3 teams that are picked in the league, the Georgias, Alabamas, and Texas. So, the quarterbacks are questionable as to how good they are. And you got a lot of hype about man. We'll see. But I think you're right. I think this is a very must game for Auburn. I think Auburn is better in my eyes than they were 2 weeks ago. I listen to people who I trust, y'all too, and I think Auburn's will be a little bit better than I had anticipated to be. And I could be dead wrong. Looking at the schedule, all is hard. I looked at Tennessee and Syracuse. Syracuse scores a lot of cotton-picking points. They're going to get 14 against 14 or 14.5 against Tennessee. I don't know. I know everybody's hollering at me. Pick the top pick is 4.5 with Clemson. Yeah, it's so good. It's when the games are so good, they're scary.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Well, you better be working on that blue plate, Coach.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it that second week.
Okay.
Maybe I need to do it the first week too. I hadn't really studied the first week as hard as the second week. I'm gonna tell you something about you two.
When you don't give the blue plate, me and Pat get beat up.
Yeah, I mean we get hammered. People
until you come back on.
I'm gonna give it to you first. Okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna get it before anybody, except for my radio show. And that people don't listen to my radio show. So it's very hard because it's the first game. In the Florida State-Alabama game, you're playing a bunch of transfer guys on offense and defense, 4 on offense and 6 on defense. The problem that you have is, can you meld them and get them to play together? That's the problem. You don't know whether you can or not. At Alabama, you have a program that didn't lose anybody. They've got them all back, but the quarterback's brand new, hadn't played any much, and so it's strength and transfer people against people who hadn't played. What kind of factor is that? I think personally, it's a favor of Alabama. I think by the time you get through teaching them and coaching them and helping them, it ain't going to be the first cotton-picking game. So that's the first game you're going to have them in there trying to explain to them exactly what they need to do. And the defensive guy leading is not good. So
no doubt.
It wasn't anything bad about it. I'll tell you this story. I always tell you a story. Joe Namath. I ain't going to tell the story. Joe Namath coming in. I've already told that. Joe Namath is called drink. They're having a staff meeting. I'm listening. They're having a staff meeting. And he's in trouble. And it's a first for anybody. And so they go around the room trying to decide who they're going, what they're going to do about the Cotton Bowl. This may be boring to y'all, but bored of some business. They love this crap. And so they all voted. One coach voted not to play, and guess who it was?
Coach Bryant.
Nope. Who else?
Oh.
Okay, you don't know. All right. The one person spoke up and said, I wasn't playing, Gene Stallings.
Beebs.
Yeah, Beebs said, I wasn't playing. The rest of them said playing. Coach Bryant listened to him. There was no player ever better than playing the one that they did play. He was absolutely, he became our athletic director, and he's passed away now. And he was so good. And they played in the Cotton Bowl, and they won by, I think, a touchdown.
Wow. Great story.
Yeah.
Coach, each and every week, Crane Works, great people, not too far away from where Landrum and I are right now, and they do so much for college football and, of course, for all those that need crane and equipment.
Well, I'm glad to be on 5 weeks for Crane Works this month, and Crane Works is terrific. They'll tear it down or build it up. They'll do whatever you want done. They'll have an operator there with you to show you exactly what they're fixing to do after you kind of go over what you want them to do. You may go to Rental Works. And Rental Works, I was involved with Rental Works some time ago. I couldn't turn on a light bulb. I ain't smart enough. So when I got ready to do something, I asked them to come and explain to me exactly how I needed to turn on this thing. I wasn't sure. I was trying to figure it out. So they came and helped me there. So Crane Works, Rental Works is important. Waste Works. Hey, you got a bunch of junk. I just moved. Let me give you a secret. Don't move again. Don't ever move. The next time I move will be in a coffin. That's where I'm going to be moving. I ain't moving no more because it's too hard. Anyway, Craneworks is great. Get on craneworks.com and you'll enjoy it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey,
Coach,
thank you, Coach. We look forward to checking in and catching up with you next week. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it very much. He joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
You deserve not to be bitten by bugs, the stinging insects, the biting kind that are no good. Maybe they serve a purpose in nature. I'm sure that they do. But they don't belong on your skin. They don't belong in your house, in your yard, biting your kids, biting your guests. Call our friends at Stark Exterminators today, 855-STARK now. Go to starkexterminators.com. They've been family-owned for over 61 years. Take care of our house. One of their professional team members came out to our home over 3.5 years ago. We had ants coming through the bathroom. He took care of that, and he said, let's look at some other potential issues that you might have down the road. Ever since then, there's certainly no ants in the bathroom. There's nothing else coming inside the house that should not be there. Stark Exterminators. Call today for the free home or business pest inspection, 855-STARK now, or go to starkexterminators.com. And when you do so, always tell them Landrum from Three Man Front and Jox sent you.
Coming up in just a couple of minutes, Coach Trent Dilford, the head football coach at UAB. He will join the program. All that as we're live from UAB Football here on Jox. 10:52 on Jox. Welcome back. This is Three-Man Front. Pat and Landrum, we are live at UAB Football. Coach Trent Dilford is going to join us at the top of the hour. Water doesn't need an invitation. It finds its way into any crawl space, bringing in mold, mildew, pests, and wood rot. But APS has the solution. Call them today at APS, 205-951-9717. The APS crawl space encapsulation system. It can seal out that moisture, block those pests, and can even reduce your energy bills. And with added protection, your crawl space becomes usable, valuable storage space. Crawl space problems don't fix themselves. They get better when you call APS. Go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. APS, protecting Alabama homes since 1977.
Takeaways from what Wimp Sanderson just told us? Anything that
the Indians are better than your
stood out to
Braves?
you? I knew that was going to stand out first and foremost.
Hey, your Braves, they're hot.
Took 2 out of 3 from the Mets.
They're hot.
4 out of 5 from the Marlins.
How about this? They're 7-3 against the Mets this year.
Michael Harris tore it up again yesterday.
I'm telling you.
He's up to 250, Pat.
Another 3-hit game for him. Elder, one of his best starts of the season.
Yeah.
6-game road trip continues tonight in the wonderful city that Molly was in last weekend. Were the Indians in town last weekend, Molly?
No,
when you
they
in
were
Cleveland?
not.
They were not?
Mm-mm.
Landrum and I we have decided we are going to no longer call the Guardians the Guardians.
No.
We're going Wimp Sanderson. We're calling them the Indians.
I did
moving
like how
forward.
he took a shot at our division. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of – yeah, but you're twin – I mean, you're
I'm
Tigers
too
won, right?
old
Yeah, we
beat the
to
Twins.
start
Mhm.
recognizing new nicknames for teams. There's too many other important things that are new that I have to recognize.
I've said it before on this show that with all the relocations going on in college sports, the one that has always been difficult for me personally is Maryland and the Big Ten. I still consider them an ACC school. I don't know why. I can't get over that block. Just like I can't get over the block of telling you Las Cruces for New Mexico State and New Mexico's in Albuquerque, right? Or did I mess that
No,
up?
that's good.
Is that right?
Albuquerque's the University of New Mexico.
Right.
New Mexico State
Is in Las
Las
Cruces.
Cruces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Got those blocks, man. All these years of doing this, for some reason, I still think Maryland's in the ACC.
NFL, I still think the Chargers are in San Diego.
Yeah. Yep.
Want them to be there.
So we've just decided we're embracing Wimp Sanderson's team.
Yeah.
So
Washington football team, you're on the clock.
see if they change.
I still call them the Redskins.
Yeah.
Any other ways that we can offend one or two people in our audience today? I still
just give it
recognize
time.
Oregon and Oregon State is the
It's a
Civil War.
Yeah.
Red River Shootout.
The cocktail
Washington
party.
Bullets.
Cocktail party.
Largest outdoor cocktail party.
Yeah.
What's another one?
We're checking all the boxes. Can't think of
I'll
any
think of
others.
more.
Yeah.
We got 3 hours.
Man, first hour in the books. Coming up straight ahead, we will talk to the head football coach of the UAB Blazers, Trent Dilford, as he welcomes us to the football facility here all day long. Keep it tuned right here to Jox. This is Three-Man Front. It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back in. It's hour number 2 of Three-Man Front on Jox, Pat, and Landrum. We are live here on the South Side. We're at UAB Football, and the head football coach of the UAB Blazers, Trent Dilford, joins us here. Coach, first off, thanks for having us. It's always a great time for us to come down here and hang out, watch practice, and be able to converse with you for a few minutes.
Not a bad view, huh?
It's fantastic.
And you got to see a little slip and slide.
Yeah,
That's pretty fun, huh?
What was going on? I made a joke. I was like, when does the ice cream truck get here?
Well, that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
We picked the wrong day to be here, Landrum.
We came to the wrong day of camp.
Yeah.
Jim Zorn did it with us in Seattle in 2002, maybe. And it became a tradition of him with the quarterbacks to teach us how to slide. There is an art to sliding. A lot of these football players don't play baseball growing up, which we all played baseball growing up, so you just learn how to slide and you don't think much of it. But Matt Hasselbeck hadn't played a lot of baseball and needed to learn how to slide. And it was fun, hot days and end of practice type thing. So we saw some awkwardness with Jaden last year at the ball. Everybody knows it, right? Like he's running, he's a fantastic athlete, and there was 4 or 5 really awkward moments where he either took a hit he didn't have to take, ball security issues. So I said in the offseason, I'm doing this, and ordered one off Amazon, and my grandson's coming today when you guys
there it is.
So I figured best of both worlds, get the quarterback some slide training, let everybody have some fun, and then Decker and I will get after it this afternoon.
My concern is we were watching it in real time. I saw the quarterbacks, and I thought the slides looked good. Then you had other position players that started jumping in, and one in particular I was a little bit worried about. Are we going to see him this season?
Who?
I don't know. He didn't have a number on. He fell awkwardly, and I thought it was a shoulder.
So it was Eddie Towson,
okay,
who's a really good linebacker, who's a fantastic athlete, who is from Africa.
Okay.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And, it was like I could feel it in my feet when he hit the ground. I was a little worried, too. I did coach him up. I wanted to do this last year, and all the coaches were like, shoulder injury and hip injury, and, they're just out of fear. And I'm like, you know what? Quit being scared. They're kids. They are kids. Let's not forget. They got to have some fun. So I coached them up. Hey, don't leave your arms back because you don't want to hurt his shoulder. Don't land on your hip pointer. Don't land on your shoulder. Like, use your booty. That's where you're supposed to land. Get your front foot up so it doesn't dig in. So I did coach him up a little bit, and he was really the only awkward one. And then a lot of guys chose to go face first. I didn't think they knew who Ricky Henderson was, but we got some Ricky Hendersons out there, and I'm looking at D. Lee right now, one of our secondary players, and he's 6'3", not more probably than 175 pounds. And I teased him. I said, "You just stayed on top of the water,
like a water balloon."
You're so light. You just stayed on top of the water. But he did. Some of them, him and Josh Baca and Tariq Watson, some of the really great athletes. They had so much. I was using my meta glasses, so I filmed it all, and I was at the other end, and they were hitting the grass like full speed. So they're getting another 10 yards into the grass. So it was kind of fun. It was a nice way to end what's been 3 weeks of really an intense training camp, and wanted to add a little levity to it.
All right, let's start with your quarterbacks. You have not been bashful in your thoughts on yourself as a coach and the way that this team performed last year. But let's start with the offense. How have you felt over the last 3 weeks and where you are right now?
Well, my frustration has been that we have found every which way to lose a football game, and that is an indictment on the head coach. I mean, that's the way it is. You are what your record is, and your team plays as you lead it to play. So my frustration specifically offensively has been we've just been careless, casual. Great offensive football is not yards. It's the biggest lie out there. Yards are fun. Yards can be impactful, but clean football and points are what make great offensive football. And we would have these great yardage games, but have a couple turnovers, don't finish in the red zone, put our defense in some bad positions, poor fourth down management. I've never gone against the book, but that doesn't mean I'm right. Sometimes going with what the book says in these fourth down situations has hurt us because we haven't executed, and I have to have a better understanding of our team. So, you pile it all up and you do an off-season, self-reflection, and you're like, okay, I got to fix this. This is my area of expertise, so I got to fix it. And Mort can't fix everything. Mort's a fantastic offense coordinator. I'd put him against anybody in the country. But it does take more than one person, and it takes a strong voice and a message and a philosophy. So really the message has been without sacrificing our explosive qualities, because we've been very explosive offensively for 2 years in the run game and the pass game. Our explosive numbers would equate to 8 wins a season. You know, if you just looked at that metric, it's really turnovers and explosives for offensive football equal winning. And our explosive numbers, sorry, I moved the camera there.
You're good.
I probably look better when I'm not on camera.
There you look. You look great.
And so the balance is, okay, how do you stay explosive but get way cleaner without preaching the don'ts? Don't turn it over. Don't do this. Don't take a sack. The don'ts, because then you lose your aggressiveness offensively. So really it's been kind of a scheme philosophy. And then it's been just this overall understanding as a team, how do we raise our floor? How is our bad better? You know, you got your bad can't beat you. Your bad can just put you in a bad position, and that's okay. You can get out of bad positions, but when your bad beats you, you're in trouble. So what are the bads? Grossly missed assignments are really bad, and they get you beat. Lack of effort gets you beat. Lack of conditioning is really bad. People drop balls. You don't want it to happen, but it happens, right? And you're going to turn it over here and there just because you have a lot of plays offensively. But what kind of turnovers are they? What down and distance are the turnovers? You know, we had a ton of red zone or 1st and 10 or, you know, had momentum in the game and we're turning it over. And then finishing. Excuse me. I think finishing in the reds and stopping teams from finishing is a big deal. In modern day football, it is very hard in college to stop people. The rules are set up for offense. The hashes are set up for offense. Pretty much everything is set up for offense. So, and you saw this with the great Alabama defenses started giving up more points. You know, these dominant defenses that have historic legacies of playing great defenses. It's in their DNA. All of a sudden it was tough to play defense. Everybody's like, oh, the offenses are getting better. Well, no, the rules are set up for offensive football. So if you know going in that defense is going to be hard to limit yards, then how do you win football games? Well, you limit points. You know, and everybody says, we'll get the ball back. Turnovers, yes, you preach turnovers, you teach turnovers. It's the biggest indicator of winning and losing in football. But sometimes you can't force turnovers. But what you can do is you can become an iron fence when you get in the red zone and defensively hold teams to field goals and takeaways. And then offensively, we got to finish. You know what I mean? Part of raising the floor is it's coming away with more points when we get in the red area. I think that's scoring more touchdowns, but it's also never not scoring points. You know what I mean? You got to be
right.
Shouldn't say never. There's probably going to be a 4th down. You go for it because it makes sense to do it, and you don't get points. At least you pinned them. But you got to have high percentages of finishing drives off of points.
Jalen Kitna, your quarterback. Your observations from how much he's grown from last season to now, precision, all of those things that you're looking for.
Yeah, he's made giant steps. Now, he knows this, and so if his parents are listening or he's listening, they'll nod their head and say yes. Like, he needs to get better. Like, he is not where I want him to be. But my expectations are unrealistic probably too, you know. So, but that's a good thing, you know. I think we just keep pushing him to be the best quarterback in America. Like, that is the goal. Play with that type of temperament, play with that type of confidence, play with that type of precision, play with that type of mastery of the offense, and push him to that standard and push his preparation to that standard. And that's where he has absolutely been a 10. His preparation is impeccable. He's developed a really cool pre-practice routine, a study routine, a very professional approach to handling the responsibility that is quarterback. So we've seen a lot of growth because of that. Instinctively, he's gotten a lot better. That's been the biggest growth. I ran and grabbed 15 minutes of film before I came on here. I got to see one period, and Mort made the comment without being prodded by me. He's like, man, he is making so many more off-schedule instinctive plays. You know, things don't go perfect. He's making them better so much more often. So that's really encouraging. Now, the consistency is not nearly where I want it. He still is young, so he doesn't see it right all the time. He still is, I think, doubting some of his reads, so he's less decisive at times. I don't think he has total mastery of some of the things we're trying to do, but that's our fault too. Like, you do everything in training camp. Like, we got the whole playbook in. I mean, it's a ton of stuff. We got to do a better job weekly making sure that's distilled down to amount of information that he can master and that we can master offensively. So, doing very well. I don't want anybody to be like, oh no, Trent's worried. I'm not worried. I have a maniacal expectation for how this position is played. It's never been played the way I expect it to be played here. And hopefully this is the year that I feel good about how the position is played.
This is something we were discussing because we hear comments like you just made from coaches. We get the sound bites, and it's hard to decipher. Is there a real issue here? Is this a potential problem, or is this a coach seeing a lot of growth, liking what he sees, but just pushing to that next level?
I'll be honest, you guys know I don't have any baloney in me. I think the potential issue here is we ask him to do too much. If we were playing fifth grade math football, which some teams do, he would just be amazing. You'd be like, oh, this is the greatest player ever. If we were playing, pre-algebra offensive football, I think people would be like, man, he's really, really, really good. We're trying to play calculus offensive football, and I think what Morton and I's challenge is we want to do it because there's extreme advantages if you can do that. Like, they're massive. Run game checks, pass game checks, double cadences. Like, you can really get a defense to where they just crumble in front of you, especially when they're better than you. Really the tools are when you play an opponent that is physically better than you, but you're intellectually better than them, you can balance out the difference. And we'll have a few of those. We'll play 3 or 4 games where our opponent is bigger, stronger, faster, whatever it is, paid a lot more. Let's just use modern day terms. Their salary caps are way higher than our salary caps, so they have higher paid, more on paper talented players. So you want to balance that out with kind of an intellectual ability to do more than them. So that's what we're pushing for.
Service Academy's been doing it for years.
Yes. So, but what we may have to do early in the season is keep this more algebra 2, and find a balance there to where we still can have some distinct advantages, but we're not asking the quarterback to triple count and be, Tom Brady at the line of scrimmage. And we really do. If you brought in an NFL quarterback, pick your 5 favorites, and you brought him to one of our practices, they would say that's exactly what we do. Exactly. They wouldn't say we do more. Some would say they do less. Like, they at the line of scrimmage, these guys have an enormous amount of information they have to process pre and post snap. Probably unfair and probably not smart to do it all the time. But to push the envelope that way, because if we get 20% of that out of them, now we have a distinct advantage. And it's really on Morton and I to make sure we distill it down to a level of information that this quarterback and these players can master in a week's game plan.
We will continue our conversation with Coach Trent Dilford. This is Jox. This is 3-Man Front. Welcome back. This is Jox, three-man front. We are live, UAB football practice facility under the pavilion. Coach Trent Dilford continues our conversation here right outside, about 10 feet away. Coach, you got a great office and a wonderful perch.
You may have to go in there if it starts raining. This is actually, you do get water through here, so just know.
Oh, yeah.
You may have to
You
go
just
in
pointed
there.
that out. It's not supposed to rain, though, right?
I don't know. I never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great setup. I mean, so many people had a part of building this facility. Now that I've been here a couple years and have heard the story, they just did a fantastic job. We are the envy of many. I've had tons of coaches, like Jeff Tedford when he was at Fresno, and even after he left because he was still involved. Spencer, a bunch of guys on the West Coast called me and said, "Hey, we're thinking about a pavilion. Can we come see yours?" And I just turned them over to Mark. But this is a great building. Our players are very pleased. We try to keep it very family oriented and honor the investment that so many have made.
Coach, I want to ask you about your defense. You bring in Steve Russ to run your defensive side this year. How are those guys looking, in your opinion, the first 3 weeks?
More professional, more dialed, more instinctive. Landry was asking me off camera, I guess. What's the biggest difference? They're more instinctive football players. They've played more football. I think that's the narrative that doesn't get talked about enough in the portal is how much have they played? How productive have they been? Not what they recruited. Who cares? Has the guy played? Has he learned how to be a productive college football player? And, you have your inside linebackers have thousands of starts between the two of them. And then you add Calvin Pitcher into the mix, and he has played a ton as kind of a strong side outside nickel type backer. Your defensive line has a lot more playing experience. Your secondary has a lot more playing experience. Guys that have played real snaps and real college football. So they've naturally gained an instinctive quality to them. They don't have to see it 47 times during the week to understand it. They can be like, oh, okay, I can see it in the classroom. I can watch it on film. I can go get a couple walkthrough reps of it. Now I know it's coming. So that's been pleasant. Our floor is still way too low. We're giving up way too many big plays on defense, which is one of the parts of what makes this defensive structure work well is that it can create havoc at the line of scrimmage, but also limit big plays. So we got to do a much better job limiting big plays. Now that could be a testament to our offense too. Our offenses continue to be highly explosive in practice. So that's always the challenge. It's like turnovers. Turnovers in practice, good or bad? Well, as a head coach, they're both. It's awesome that our DBs are diving and picking off balls. It's horrible that our quarterbacks are throwing them. It's great that defensive linemen are punching out balls and secondary guys are punching out balls, but it's bad that our guys are fumbling them. So it's good and bad, and we've seen that with explosive plays too. We've seen a lot of explosive plays on offense. That's a good thing. It's a bad thing because the defense is giving them up. So we won't know. And I've said this, and I'm not trying to be coy and give head coach. I still don't know who we are. I don't know how good we're going to be. I'm sick of people talking about things like that. I want to see it. I've been conned for 2 years, and I'm not going to be conned this year. So I'm an optimistic person by nature, so I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm still very skeptical on some things. I still think we're way away from where we need to be. I see too many things during the day, whether it be a lack of detail, whether it be a lack of understanding, whether it be a lack of engagement, but just still not to my standard of a completely professional approach while we're in the preparation mode so that we can go out and just let it rip on Saturdays.
So many changes, turnover on your roster. And I remember you telling me this a few months ago that you're still learning these guys.
Yeah.
At this point now, and you said, hey, I'm not going to be one of these, everybody come in and introduce your name and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Still haven't.
What is the culture, the community that you've been able to witness within your locker room?
Yeah, I think it's been forged through excuse me, it's been forged through some hard things. We've created a lot of hard environments in the building, whether that be expectations, standards academically, standards from a work ethic standpoint, standards on in the winter program, our winning edge program, as hard as I've ever seen. And I've been around football a long time. It is, and everybody says we have the hardest offseason. This is the hardest offseason I've ever seen. So it was intentional by Lyle and I to make sure that these people will reveal themselves. if I end up being any good at this and people say, hey, what's your core value? I would say, well, I don't really believe in competition. I believe in revelation. People will reveal themselves. You put them in enough hard situations, they'll reveal their true football character. You don't have to say, oh, let's grade these 70 reps and see who's better. No, let's give them 140 really hard situations, and they'll reveal which one's better. And I think revelation is way more important than competition. I think competition's internal. You talk to some of the greatest competitors that have ever lived. It's not me against you, it's me against me. That's competition. Revelation is I'll reveal that I'm the best player, that I'm the number one tennis player in the world, that I'm the number one safety, that I'm the number one quarterback. I'll reveal that over time because I'm competing with myself every day. So we've created some revelatory situations, and that also goes to culture, because now you can say one thing, man, you can read my Be a Pro playbook, the 20-pager, and recite stuff and try to kiss my butt, but then I can put you in a tough, adverse situation and see how you respond. That's going to tell me all I need to know, and we've had a lot of that. Now, we will do next week intentionally. We will now have a little more kumbaya because now it's been revealed. Now we all know who each other are. There are no secrets anymore. And now we'll move into more of the family meeting atmosphere. I don't know if you guys had family meetings, but with 3 daughters, I had a lot of family meetings.
I bet you did.
And a lot of those family meetings where, hey, we have a no drama rule, and you're going to be reminded on a Wednesday night, no drama rule, and respect to your parents and respect to the people around you and our family core values, and we're going to hold you to these standards. And I think we need a little more of that now because now, it's been gnarly at times. It's been really gnarly getting kids that have never been together to go through really stressful, hard, fatiguing situations, not always handle them well, then have to deal with that conflict. And now I think it's time for us to kind of say, okay, are we in this for thick and thin? And what are we willing to commit to as a football team?
Coach, as you self-assess your own coaching, how much has that changed because of the portal, NIL, from your early vision when you took this job?
I think, I actually called some of my high school players that are playing the SEC right now. I talked to some of my high school coaches. I talked to my NFL teammates. I said, give me an evaluation of me. Like when I was at my best, what was I? When I was at my worst, what was I? Because right now I'm at my worst, and I really don't know why. There's times. Now there's certain things I know. And I think one of the biggest takeaways is I treat people the way I would like to be treated. But I was a pro. You didn't have to tell me twice. Like I learned really early on. Like I was a knucklehead, and then I flipped the switch, and I didn't ask a lot of questions. You told me to go do that, I was going to do it. Why? Because you're my boss, and, you probably have my best interest in mind. And even if you don't, you're my boss. You know what I mean? I'm kind of naturally a compliant person. I'm a disruptor if I don't trust you. But I'm pretty compliant if I trust you and I respect you. You can pretty much tell me to do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to do it. Ask Ted. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do it. I just think that's a good way to live life, and that's how I expect. So I was a little too much of that. And I had built such a culture, or we had built such a culture at Lipscomb that everybody just kind of met that expectation. Here it's not happened, and I think I've been for the word I would use is soft. You know what I mean? I've just been too soft because I'm too idealistic. I say, I've taught this. I've shared it. I've showed a video. I've had a staff meeting about it. I've done the things. I said it once. You should listen. I don't talk a lot. When I talk, you should probably listen. Probably do it the way the head coach wants it to be done. And then just assume it's going to happen. Doesn't happen. So more of a hard edge without yelling, more matter of fact, more you didn't meet the standards, so there's a consequence, choices, decisions, consequences. Firing those coaches was brutal, right? It was brutal. Some of my best friends. One of them is one of my closest friends in the world. But it also sent a very clear message that there's a standard, there's an expectation, and we're going to meet it. And I'm not going to yell and scream. I never braid a coach out on the field, but you just won't be here. Players, I'm not going to yell and scream. You're not a bad person because you're late to weights, but your reputational damages just got hit. It's just matter of fact. You didn't go to class, you have CT. Still love you. Still like you. Glad you're here. But there's going to be a consequence all the time. Choices, decisions, consequences. A much harder line approach, less sympathy, less, oh, okay, I hear your reasons. I don't care about your reasons. You didn't meet the standard. That's what it is. So It's hard for me. It's very hard for me because I would like to have a bunch of players, a bunch of coaches that just did what you asked them to do, because you're trying to show them respect by asking them in a nice way. And I think what's happened, unfortunately, culturally in football is that they look at that as a suggestion unless you're yelling and screaming and cussing, and I'm not that guy. So what I've had to clearly define is there are suggestions and then there's mandates. And if it's a suggestion, it'll lead this way. Hey, I'm suggesting you look at this. If that phrase is not used on the front end, consider it a mandate. And there's really nothing in between. And I've had suggestions. I've talked to the defense staff. Hey, I've seen this. I'd suggest you look into this, a drop 8 coverage. Russ goes, I've never had a lot of success with drop 8. Great. It was just suggesting it.
Yeah.
But then there's times like, I want that route depth at 12 yards. Coach Carver, yes, sir. It's at 12 yards. He knows I'm not suggesting that it might be better at 12 yards. I want it at 12 yards. Hey, quarterback, I'm not suggesting that your eyes start here. 1,000 out of 1,000 times when that ball is caught, your eyes start there. And there's no room for exception. I expect us to lift a certain way. I don't suggest we go in the weight room and have energy and you get all your reps and you put the weights back and you clean up your Gatorade bottles and you wear the right shirt. No, that's not a suggestion, right? Now, it's a suggestion that if we're in a walkthrough at the end of the day and we've already showered or something, sure, wear your whatever. Wear your flip-flops. We're only going out there for 5 minutes to talk about something. That's fine. But when it's a walkthrough during the day, it's not a suggestion to have your unbreakable shirt on, black shorts, tennis shoes, tied, certain socks, right? And then I also will explain my reasons. I'm not doing it I'm doing it for your good. I'm teaching you something. When you have a job, I always use Walmart because I think it's a great company. Walmart managers do a really good job. Support a really good family doing that, right? Your superior is not suggesting what time you get in. He's not suggesting you team building events. He's not suggesting these things. Like, you are going to have a boss in life that's going to tell you whether you agree with him or not, or her or not. You do these things because it's best for us. And I think there's almost this culture now of young athletes that think that they can maybe take the advice or maybe not. And this building is no longer that way.
A lot of reasons for that. If there's one thing that you can guarantee, and we're not going to talk wins and losses for the season, but if there's one thing you can guarantee, identifiable trait that people will, me and Pat, everybody at Protective Stadium, we take on Alabama State on that Thursday night, will be able to notice about this year's version of the UAB Blazers. What will it be?
I'd say it's 3-tiered. You'll see a team that the word that the layman will use is fun. We will have fun. I would call it more at a looseness. We will have on game day a confidence in our preparation so we can just let it rip. We will. We recruited that type of kid. We're not recruiting the high anxiety, performance freak out, yell and scream when they do bad, think it's cool to throw a helmet kid. We're just not recruiting them. You don't make it in my office. You might make it in the building, but you ain't making it in my office. Now, we'll have some episodes that aren't that. You're always obviously going to have some problems. But, like, in general, you're going to look at the temperament of the sideline, and you're going to see a team that's like, wow, they're confident. They're 17-point underdogs, yet they still have confidence. We will play hard. We will play much, much harder than we've played in the past. Again, we recruited a kid that has a natural motor and energy and effort to them that, we'd look at kids on tape and we'd be like, he's really talented. But look at him cruising to the ball away from the ball. Not going to recruit him. Well, coach, man, that guy's really – we can coach that in. No, you can't. Can't coach effort. Guys either have it or they don't. So we have guys tremendous amount of effort on both sides of the ball. And then I think you'll see a team that I'm hoping on this one. I see it's coming. You'll see a team that doesn't flinch. We're going to be down in games. We're going to throw interceptions. We're going to give up big plays. It's natural. Bad things are going to happen. A lot of bad things are going to happen this year. It's guaranteed.
That's inevitable.
By the way, the team that goes undefeated this year and wins the Natty, they'll have bad things happen too.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely a guarantee in football that pretty much every bad thing that you can imagine is going to happen at some point. We're going to respond well to them.
One last question. This is our Blazer fan mailbag.
Oh, yeah. It's a big bag, man.
Would you please ask Coach Dilford why he hates the color gold?
You love doing this, don't you? I'll answer that question week 1 when you see us roll out.
Woo! There's the teaser. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Excited about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love the hate. I wouldn't be comfortable if everybody liked me.
Coach Dilford, we appreciate you taking time.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks for hosting us.
All right, see you guys.
Coach Trent Dilford, UAB. We continue our coverage here from the South Side as we continue on this Friday three-man front on Jox.
It is 11:34. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front as we continue our tour around football programs in the great state of Alabama. We're down at UAB today. We just heard from Trent Dilford. Great conversation. We're now joined by Eli Inennis, Ohatchee, Alabama, the pride of Ohatchee. He is right here on set with us, coming from Nichols. And I was just talking to Ted, and I know that before we get into fall camp and what's going on, you come from Nichols, and you had a leg issue.
Yep.
And you had a bit of a scare. And for those folks that do not know that story, if you don't mind sharing that with us, because it's a great ending to the story.
So basically, I want to say around a few months ago, I had some leg pains in my right leg. It felt like a tightness. Really couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was. And I kind of dealt with it through that spring, that fall, and then into that season. And then after the season, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to take a few weeks off of it because I didn't know what it was exactly, and then get back, and then this whole process will happen. So that's kind of what happened. Took some weeks off of it. It got better. Week one at UAB, obviously I had no idea what it was, so I didn't think to hey, this is what it is, and it really wasn't giving me any problems unless I was doing certain movements on it. So get out here week one, and we were doing squats in the weight room, and it was like a 5-second count down and then up, and that first squat, it felt like it was about to pop. It was horrible. So we had our physicals, and the doctor was asking me, he's like, is there anything else? I'm like, well, I can't can barely bend my right leg. Like, I couldn't even, standing straight on it and bending it slightly, there was pain. And he's like, well, that's not normal, so we'll get you an x-ray. X-ray came, and they're like, well, hey, there's something on your bone. That whole thing, we're going to get you an MRI here soon. Went and got the MRI. They got to look at it a little bit better, and it was a bone cyst, but they were telling me it's like, in your case, it's really rare because a lot of the bone cysts that we deal with is inside the bone. And he was like, that's kind of why it took us so long to diagnose it. And I think that happened on like a Friday, I want to say. That Wednesday, I think I was scheduled to get a biopsy to get it checked. And then when I went in for that, he pretty much told me, he was like, hey, we know what it is. Like, we're just going to go ahead. You need surgery for it. And because it was giving me problems, like obviously hurting. But then again, he was also telling me, he's like, you could have broke your femur bone. Like,
oh, wow.
Even right now at this point, with you doing just the impact stuff, the running and lifting weights on it, like, you're at a high chance of breaking it. And I think within a week I had my surgery and got it out and got it taken care of. So it's been a long. The process wasn't bad, but it was scary, just getting it diagnosed and then not knowing exactly what it was.
Well,
it's kind of
thank the Lord you're okay, and thank the Lord you can still play college football.
Yeah, because there was a lot of. I mean, he was kind of telling me all the things that could have went. Like, they kind of have to give you that rundown of what this possibly could turn out to be, and it was a lot of it was like, take some of your femur bone out, you could have broke it, it could be cancerous, whatever, and so it was scary, and it panned out well, though.
By the way, those of you not watching on Jox TV and you have not seen the headshot of Eli Inennis, he's got great hair. The only way to compare it, I would say Troy Polamalu.
Yep, I get
a lot
that
of people. Did you watch it after practice? Do you have a routine?
Yeah. So
I bet you use really expensive shampoo.
So, like, during the season, it's a lot harder because I like to keep it clean. I don't like it smelling. So I try to wash it every day, every other day, depending on what I'm doing. After season, I usually, because it's better not to wash it so often.
That's what they tell me. But
yeah, I've always been told that, but I'm like,
I don't want to have a stinky head.
Exactly, and then it doesn't really, like, it hasn't affected it too bad, I don't think. And but after season, I kind of try to keep the water off of it. Every 2 or 3 days, I'll give it a wash.
Your girlfriend, she takes care of your hair.
She does as much as she can. We have two different hair types, so as much as she knows, she gives me little pointers about it.
All right, let's talk about the defense. I know, obviously, you're new to the program in regards. You were not here last year.
Yep.
New defensive coordinator. But for those that have been around this program the last year or so, defensively speaking, what's the vibe like with this new system under Steve Russ?
A lot of fast, physical players. I think can't speak for what it was last year. I mean, I kind of have no idea what it was last year. But from some of the guys that have been here and that are still here playing with us, they see a big difference as far as just the mentality, the speed, and the physicality that's being brought out there. I think it's a very good thing, and it's a lot different than it was last year.
How much different is it from where you came?
From Nichols?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of similarities because that's what our defense was kind of built on, like effort, running to the ball. That's a big thing for Coach Russ, and just being physical and fast. I think I see a lot of similarities because that was kind of throughout high school, and then when I got to Nichols, that was kind of their motto of being physical, give everything you have each play, and I think it's a lot of the same stuff. Yeah.
I was asking Coach, and it seemed like you're a guy that probably gets along with everyone, but the culture inside the locker room, what is it like as opposed to when you first arrived, because you've had to meet a lot of new teammates and they've had to do it vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a lot different when you get here. You don't know anybody, and then a lot of the guys, like, this is with anywhere you go. It happened at Nichols. I feel like at Nichols it was a little bit harder for me to kind of make friends and get to the different friend groups, but you have certain people that they have their little circle, and then it's kind of hard to get into that circle. And I think you have that come up in a lot of teams, but I've said it before, like when I got here, there was 30 other new guys. So it was kind of like, hey, you're in my circle. And then it's the whole team. So I think as far as everybody being together, it's very good. As far as everybody getting to know each other.
In regards to, are you tired of hitting the same people? Are you ready to hit somebody different?
Yeah. I'm ready for the plays to actually count. Put it that way. I'm ready to get out there and.
Do you guys as players set expectations? Coach Dilford said he's tired of talking about wins and losses. He's done it the first 2 seasons. He's got to prove it on the field. You want to win every game, but what are the goals for the season team-wise and for Eli?
I mean, for team-wise and how I would look at it, and I think is a good way to look at it, is just one game at a time.
Yeah.
Is the most important game is the next game, because this was a big thing in high school. You get caught up in looking at games down the road, and then you lose your focus on what's next. So as far as expectations for me and what I see and hope for it to be for the team is Alabama State.
Yeah.
Take care of Alabama State, and then, that's our first game, and I'm not worried about any other game other than
You promised me one thing, though, Eli.
Yep.
One thing.
What's up?
This year, can we return from a road game victorious? That's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think I can promise that.
Okay.
I will promise that
Very
we
nice.
will get that done.
Very nice. That is Eli Inennis. Good luck this season. Appreciate you stopping by and seeing us.
Got a great number, 44.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's the perfect linebacker number.
And you look great on the slip and slide, by the way.
You did.
Nice. I've been told.
Eli, thank you, brother.
All right.
Good to see you.
Thank you, guys.
More from UAB football. This is Jox, 3-man front. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front live on the South Side in Birmingham. We're outside Coach Dilford's office overlooking the practice field under the pavilion here on the South Side. Appreciate all the hospitality, just like we had last week at Sanford, this week here at UAB.
We'll celebrate the kickoff to college football with us at the Bill Smith Buick GMC Jox Kickoff Party. It's at Regions Field on Thursday, August 21st, and the only way to go is by winning tickets. And today, this is it. This is the last day to qualify. So to enter to win a pair of tickets for you and a guest, text the keyword FINAL and your full name to 205-834-9450. Once again, the keyword FINAL and your full name to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily, and for more information, visit joxfm.com.
Auburn having its second scrimmage this morning. We hope to have some information for you before we go off the air today in regards to who looks what. I know some wide receivers are banged up. Not sure how much they're going to participate in that practice, as there will be 3 scrimmages. The next one will be August the 22nd for Auburn, so we'll see if Jackson Arnold performs better than what he did at practice yesterday when Hugh Freeze threw his visor. Bama on the practice field today. They will scrimmage number 2. That will be tomorrow. Coach DeBoer will meet with the media around 2 o'clock tomorrow, so that will be a midday scrimmage around 11:30. They'll go for a couple of hours, and then DeBoer will meet with the media at 2.
My guess, and I don't know this, and maybe you've seen it where it's been confirmed, but a guy like, starting with Auburn, Eric Singleton Jr., who was held out of practice because he banged knees with another player, Cam Coleman being limited. I think you know what you're going to get from those guys, so don't know if you're going to see them in scrimmage number 2. Jackson Arnold, you certainly want to see continued, I guess, praise from the onlookers. Not that yesterday was with the hat throwing, and I know that there's still inconsistencies, but he has shown a lot of glimpses of maybe success and what Auburn has been looking for, and you hope that he minimizes those mistakes. But the biggest thing for not only Auburn but also for Alabama, can the defensive side of the ball, can they create some turnovers, and what do those turnovers look like? But for everybody, keeping your main guys, especially your starting 22 or your first 22, healthy. Can't afford a loss right now.
No, that's the big key. Let's go to the phones, 1-800-239-WJOX. We got a few minutes to take some phone calls. Let's go to Mississippi. Our good friend Miles calling in. Hey, Miles, hope you're well on this Friday.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Enjoying the show.
Hey, Miles.
And, y'all, I think this Michigan stuff, and I saw your tweet, Pat. You were the one who informed me about the penalties handed down to Michigan. I think you're right. I think it's ridiculous. You know, tell me if I'm wrong on this. It seems to me that the time to deal with Michigan would have been during the 2024 season. You know, be it via the Big Ten or playoff, ruling authority or NCAA. The time to deal with Michigan was in 2024 and punish them by not letting them get in a playoff.
It's a novel concept, Miles, because, you know, I mean, he was suspended, right? I mean, he couldn't participate with the football team. You would have thought that would have been enough, right? But it's just amazing what schools used to be. I mean, think about it. Even just right before the pandemic, you had an Oklahoma State basketball team. They were banned from the postseason for some stuff that went on. And it wasn't to the level of cheating and a scandal in which the head coach and some clown on the sideline was dressing up and stealing signals and stuff like that. I mean, it's laughable because the NCAA has lost so many times in court. They are so scared of their own shadow. They are never going to punish a school ever again like they used to.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent example with Oklahoma State. You know, if I was a Florida State fan, I wouldn't be mad at Alabama. I'd be mad at Michigan.
Yeah.
About not getting in the playoff. Because if Michigan would have been barred from it, then Florida State gets in. And the thing is, you know, I've heard people say, well, Michigan would have won those games anyway. It doesn't matter. They had an advantage that everybody else didn't have. They pulled a Houston Astro.
Beating on the drum, beating on the garbage cans. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, even worse. Of course, by the way, I was a Houston Astros fan, and that ruined my ability to pull for the Astros. So, yeah, it's close to home. But I don't – this just is ludicrous to me. I mean, I remember, Pat, you went through –
Sorry, I think we lost Miles. Thanks for the call, Miles.
Going back to what he said about Michigan, and I agree, and we discussed it, but if it's not the NCAA, who is going to hand out that penalty that everybody believes would be just for Michigan in this instance?
Well, until the CSC comes into existence and it's actually got all the conferences and schools signed on for it,
right?
This is the result you're going to get.
Exactly.
No matter what it is.
So that should help create more of a sense of urgency for everybody to get together that signed off on it and say, all right, let's put this in place. Let's put enforcement committee, whatever you want to call them, let's put this in place, and who's going to decide what the penalties are, because that's going to ultimately get everyone's attention. I think show causes are great. Unfortunately, for a guy like Jeremy Pruitt, the show cause affects him a lot more than it does a guy like Jim Harbaugh, who just rolled over and went right back to, let's be honest, probably where he wanted to be after NIL, the transfer portal, and winning a national title. You can leave as a hero. Who cares about Connor Stallions? I mean, some people could argue that maybe he should be locked up and serving time for what he did. So I think show causes are great, but unfortunately, maybe that's not enough of a deterrent for some of these coaches who may not think, well, I'm never going to get caught. But until we get that College Sports Commission and everything in place, the NCAA is going to continue to do what they do. But I think a lot of it is just fear out of backlash, and you get attorneys involved, and then it becomes a legal situation, and they have not fared well, as you mentioned.
Let's try to grab BC before the top of the hour here. Hey, BC, thanks for your patience. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Pat. I know we're really pumped about college football starting up really soon. Can we talk about a high school football team for just a hot minute?
Absolutely.
And I'll begin by asking you, since you're an old-timer like me, Pat, can you recall the team that won the 3A State of Alabama championship in football in 1973?
I'm going to take a wild guess. John Carroll.
That was the John Carroll Cavaliers. They went undefeated that year. They beat the likes of Mountain Brook, Shades Valley, Vestavia. They went on to play Andalusia for the state championship game on a cold night at Legion Field and won the state championship. And the reason that I want to bring this up is because 52 years later, a generous donor/benefactor is awarding the surviving members of that team their state championship football rings.
Oh, awesome.
August 29th at their home opener at Pat Sullivan Field. In fact, Pat, they're rededicating Pat Sullivan Field. They've done a lot of upgrading of the infrastructure there, and they've got their first game is at Homewood, and then on the 29th they have an at-home game against St. Michael, and they are going to award the surviving members of the team, about 45 or so players, their state championship rings, and it's a big deal.
Yeah, listen, we will continue to obviously promote that. Thank you for the phone call very much. That's a very special honor. It is 12 noon. Welcome in on this hot, humid, very muggy day in the Deep South. This is three-man front on Jox. Pat, Landrum, Molly with you on this Friday. Conrad back with us on Monday. Landrum and I, we are live on the south side in Birmingham as we're at the practice pavilion.
It's nice under this pavilion.
Not a lot of breeze, though.
There's not a lot of breeze, but it could be a lot worse. We could be about
we could be like
60 yards that way.
Yeah, and if we were, that would be a problem. Because they've already turned off the water hydrant for the slip and slide. So,
yes, they have. And we've been here many times, but now that you see not only high schools but NFL, other college programs looking at this, my idea for pavilion, if you were in an area that was you got a lot of rain, whatever, you didn't want to have the expense of building a dome. Why could you not do this? Make it a little bit wider where you are getting, and I'm not talking a capacity of 50,000, but putting bleachers in underneath the pavilion where at least it keeps people out of the weather.
Yeah.
I don't see why more people don't do that.
Yeah. And, speaking of roofs, because this is a great-looking roof, by the way, I want to tell you about Abide Roofing, because when it comes to your roof, you need a company that you can trust, and that's Abide Roofing, a company that delivers on its promises. Abide is rocking a perfect 5-star rating on Google, and I just want to share with you what some of those folks on Google have been saying about Abide Roofing. Abide Roofing is trustworthy and easy to work with. They work hard and have strong values. They're always willing to help, going above and beyond. If you're looking for someone honest, hardworking, and reliable, Abide Roofing is your team. They know the industry inside and out. So those are just a couple of the examples that you can find on their 5-star rating there on Google. Another customer even said that they had an employee at their home on Memorial Day morning to repair a leak. Abide Roofing puts its customers first, just like they did me a couple years ago when I had issues and I had to get a full roof replacement. They dealt with my insurance company, and I'm extremely pleased with everything that was done throughout the whole process. So when they give their word, they mean it. For roofing solutions built on trust, quality, and outstanding customer care, call Abide Roofing. Here's the number, 205-941-6223. That's 205-941-6223. Or just go to their website, abideroof.com. That's ABIDE roof.com.
Texts are coming in on the text line, 205-834-9450. You can text the show. We love hearing from you. And this one coming in from a very familiar number. Happy Friday from Santa Rosa.
Oh, my goodness. Conrad
Van Order. Oh, that looks marvelous. That looks absolutely great.
Oh, he sent a picture?
Oh, of course he did.
He did?
Yes. He's not out of the – he's probably under an umbrella right now. Probably needs somebody already to page to help him drive. Corey says the Astros and the Brewers still get him. As far as you say that Maryland in the Big Ten just seems weird because we remember as an ACC school.
Yeah.
That's good too. I said the Chargers in San Diego, but West Virginia in the Big 12.
Yeah, that one's odd.
And Johnny says, Pat, I feel the exact same way about Maryland. Great minds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Javon Jackson joining us, as well as Solomon Beebe. And they're going to be two of the running backs. Coach Dilford, this offense, Coach Mortonson are counting on this season. Solomon in his second year now with the Blazers. And Javon Jackson, who is a Alabama native, played up in Decatur, but also spent time at Austin Peay and UTEP. And both of those guys joining us here under the pavilion. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good, what's up?
We're doing great. Let's start with Solomon first.
Sir.
You're number 2. This system, what you're seeing right now on the offensive side of the things, can you compare and contrast to this point last year during training camp?
It's like, it was last year. I wasn't really doing too much. Like, I was mainly on the sideline because, freshman. But this year I'm getting more, more active in, like, the plays and whatnot. Compared to last year, I was just studying, trying to get mental reps.
So this year you're saying it's more reaction rather than trying to process.
Yeah, it's more like how fast I can get it down, get the plays down. Ones I already know, the new ones. So it's really it's not too hard. So I'm catching on quick.
Javon, in regards to you being at UTEP and Austin Peay before coming here to UAB, tell us about how camp has been for you so far.
I mean, every year is a different experience. I feel like here is definitely getting back closer to home, and everything around here just feel like a home feeling. So just coming into it like a new system, understanding that what's being asked from me. So I mean, just coming in and understanding that I've been asked to like carry the load and been able to learn plays and learn a new system, and it's all been a process, but I'm enjoying my time here for sure.
How tough has it been for you to process? Because there's a lot of information, and Coach Dilford talks about we're trying to run things at a calculus level, not at a fifth grade math or a pre-algebra level. How much tougher has it been in that adjustment from the previous offenses you played in?
I mean, this offense definitely, it took some adjusting coming in because it's definitely like a pro-style offense. So I just took this as, you know what I'm saying, a learning curve of just, you know, leading up to my goals instead of just going to the NFL. So I just looked at this as, you know what I'm saying, one of the stepping stones of getting there. So just coming in with the pro mindset and just learning the offense, I feel like just anything that they put in front of me, I can learn. And then that's been the process, and I've been doing pretty well with it right now.
Solomon, talk about the return game. Pretty good at that last year. You enjoy doing that?
I love doing that. It's a great feeling every time I catch the ball. It's a good feeling just to figure out where I'm going to go, where I'm going to hit the hole, here, there. Either the scheme is real good, I can just hit the outside like I did last year, or sometimes hit it up the middle. So it's really just fun and exciting. When
you set goals for this team, not only personal goals, and I ask Eli this on the defensive side, but for you personally and team-wise, if you're going to go wins and losses, that's fine as well. But first and foremost, for you personally, what are some goals you've set for the season?
Really, for take one back, you know, be able to at least when I get to the second level of the defense, just to do my move here and there, get around them and make very long runs. That would be one of. Another one would be like just to, you know what I'm saying, keep this team alive. You know what I'm saying? I know every team gonna have the ups and downs, but like I hope just to keep my team alive. You know, whenever we just, I'm not gonna say we're gonna struggle, but feel me, whenever we just in there, in the moment, to keep the team alive, just help build that excitement, bring it back, the energy type.
Javon, I wanted to ask you, coming from El Paso to Birmingham, and again, you're an Alabama guy, so you're familiar with this humidity.
Yes, sir.
But tell us about how it was last year in fall camp in El Paso compared to what you're going through here from a weather perspective.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely a little different from,
I know it's hot. Hot is hot.
Yeah.
But the humidity.
Ooh,
I bet you missed the humidity, didn't you?
Yeah, no, for sure. Because, I mean, in El Paso, it was more of like a dry heat. It was one of them heats that you really couldn't get away from. It was just like right there on your forehead every time you look up. But, yeah, it was definitely different.
So you're like, man, welcome back to home.
Yeah, home. Like I said, it's just a home feeling, man. Just getting back to that home feeling and just enjoying it, man. I'm taking it all in.
Yeah.
For those of us and the fans who've not been able to watch a whole lot of practice, you can mince words. You don't have to mince words if you don't want to. What has been your observations of the offense as a whole up to this point in camp?
I mean, honestly, it's like I said, it's a new feel for everybody. Just coming in, like I said, I'm a new guy as well. So just coming in and just having all the pieces gel together. Right now, I feel like later in camp, I feel like all the pieces are kind of gelling together now. We still have some, some leaps and hurdles to get over, but I mean that's every offense in America right now. So we're just trying to figure out our identity right now and really like tap into who we're gonna be as an offense in 2025.
Are you a vocal guy?
I mean, not really, but I mean it's times where I have to, speak up because of my experience. I mean, we lean on our quarterback. So I mean, our quarterback's always vocal. And of course, like I said, I step in that role when I need to. I huddle, things like that. I'm not a big in front of the team guy, but I definitely pull some cats to the side and just drop some wisdom on my experiences and stuff like that. So that's how I get like my vocal, I guess, tag around here.
You're not vocal, are you?
Nah.
You do it with your playmaking ability, right? We heard that earlier.
I just like to make the plays. You know what I'm saying? But it will be instances where I have to, like, you know what I'm saying, like JJ said, pull a brother aside and let him know here, this and that. But me, I'm really more like I'm into the game. Not saying I'm not into my other players or not, but like I'm really more into like just, you know what I'm saying, making the play, like I just said, and really that's all it is. I like making the plays.
Well, we expect big things from both of you guys. Hate to put the pressure on you.
No, you need to at least take 2 back this year.
2 back? Oh,
2 back.
Try to take 3 back.
3 back would be great.
That'd be fantastic. We need what are you saying? 3, 4 100-yard games for you?
So you set it out there. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. How about that? Let's
Prophesy,
do 5.
baby.
Let's do 5.
Let's do
6,
5.
7. Yeah, I mean.
Let's do it.
See, you guys do that. No one will ever forget that if you set those kind of records.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's definitely the goal, man. We're trying to make it a memorable season for sure.
Well, that's great.
Oh, wait, I got to ask. EA Sports College Football, you guys play it?
Oh, yeah, I've definitely had a chance to.
Are you pleased with your likenesses?
I feel like I am a little bit.
You are?
Yeah, it was. They definitely they put me a little high rating on there. So I mean, it was pretty nice playing with myself on there.
So you got a little bit of that senior bump.
Yeah, I did.
I know I could be a little higher. I'll do a little higher.
Hey, you take 3 back next year?
Yeah.
At least 99.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
That's what I was telling them. They definitely do updates throughout the season, so we'll just see some bumps.
There you go. There you go.
All right, that is Solomon Beebe and Javon Jackson. Guys, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate
Good luck
y'all.
this season.
Thank you.
We are live at UAB on Jox. More coming straight ahead right here on Jox. It's 12:15. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front on Jox. Appreciate all the hospitality. Coach Dilford allowing us the opportunity to come watch practice, set up right outside his office. Already talked to a couple players. We will talk to the defensive coordinator at UAB, along with Alex Mortonson, the offensive coordinator, coming up later on the program.
Well, there's no better place in town to enjoy sports and music than right down the road from us where we are right now. It's the Finnick. The Finnick's your front row seat to the best entertainment. You got massive screens, explosive sound. It's state-of-the-art sound. And I remember in the process of them installing all of this equipment, bringing the company in that they did, they wanted the best sound that you could find anywhere. You're going to find it there at the Finnick, whether it's at live acoustic music or whether it's watching sports, especially football season. It's here. You get the massive screens, the video boards, TVs everywhere. And for those big games, one of my pet peeves, and I was talking to Kraft, the owner, about this, is going in. If you're going to watch a big game in a venue like that, I still want to be able to watch and hear the game. You're going to be able to do that at the Finnick. Fridays, you got live music starting at 10. You got acoustic music Wednesday through Fridays, but Saturday, Sunday, and Monday dedicated to football. They know what you love in this part of the country, whether it's the NFL, whether it's college football, Red Zone, Sunday Ticket. They've got it all. They got a great menu with the wood-fired burgers. You got great starters, wonderful drink menu as well. It's the Finnick, 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park. Always tell them Landrum from Jox sent you.
We're still waiting word on some information out of Auburn in regards to their second scrimmage that is being held this morning down on the Plains. Alabama will have their second scrimmage tomorrow. The big story in college football is the University of Michigan. They have finally gotten their response from the NCAA in the Connor Stallions case, and the university, they have avoided a postseason ban. They will be fined. Expected more than $20 million from loss of postseason football revenue for the next 2 seasons. Sharon Moore was given an additional game suspension. He's already taking 2 games this year. He'll take an additional 1 in 2026. Jim Harbaugh given a 10-year show cause. Connor Stallions, an 8-year show cause. But once again, the headline, Landrum, no postseason ban for the University of Michigan.
What are your expectations for the postseason, though, for them anyways? I don't see them as a college football playoff contender.
I don't either. So
I think the big relief was going back to what Miles said. And that season where they put it all together and they had so many NFL draft-ready guys, that was the season they had to seize the moment. They couldn't afford to have that thing taken away from them. And they got exactly what they wanted. But I think that retribution will be coming maybe in part by way of this, but also you want to think about Michigan, how they're thought of not only by fellow members of their conference, but now what will Michigan football be synonymous with? It'll be cheating. Maybe that's bad enough.
Yeah, and I'm already seeing you got Portnoy from Barstool and a bunch of other Michigan alums. They're just going on social media, just laughing, just smoking cigars.
Yeah,
just,
like it could have been worse.
Like, we do what we want to do, and thanks NCAA for all this waste of everyone's time. But so Michigan just thumbs their nose and did what they did and move on.
Here's the question, though. We can blame this all on the NCAA now as far as the lack of punishment that some of us believe was due. But do you believe when this College Sports Commission comes about, we will see postseason bans for instances like this? I don't.
Well, I think what you're going to do is you're going to hit them in the pocketbook of the CSC. You probably will not have that situation in regards to the postseason ban, but they will be able to potentially deal with how much money that you're going to be able to have at your disposal to pay the student athlete. And that could be big, So I think that's where the bite's going to come moving forward, is being able to take money away from a potential student athlete that you can recruit or that you can sign. This postseason ban, the television ban, you remember back, Auburn was banned from television in 1993.
Can't do that anymore.
No, because all these contracts with the conferences are too expensive.
It mucks up everybody else, too.
Yeah. So, but not that any of us believe that they were going to be having their national championship taken away, but it just shows that the NCAA is officially dead. 0. So, I mean, if I was in any school, do what you want to do and press your luck in regards to someone that's going to penalize you. I think there's more of a chance of you getting penalized by your own conference than it is nationally from the NCAA.
What's not dead is the Jox text line, 205-834-9450. Sean texting in. We interviewed Coach Trent Dilford, sat down with him for a lengthy discussion earlier in the show. You can find it at the podcast. Sean texts, I don't exactly know how to describe the vibe Coach Dilford was giving off, but at times it seemed like he was frustrated with the attitudes around the sport. Other times he seemed defeated when speaking about his program, but didn't want to place blame. Your thoughts, please. I will speak to this in having conversations like you heard us have earlier, or conversations off the record. I told you that if there's one thing I would describe Trent Dilford as, is genuine. I think Trent Dilford is his own worst critic, and he has put the blame squarely on his shoulders. From what I've getting to know him, he's not one that's going to point a whole lot of fingers. Accept it. These are the circumstances. How are you going to deal with it? That's what he preaches to his football team. Bad things are going to happen. We heard it from him. Bad things are going to happen. Even if you win a national title, there are going to be bad things that happen. But is your character going to reveal itself? How are you going to deal with it? That was my take.
Well, he set the tone at AAC Media Days.
With the towel ringing?
Well, not only that, but when he just basically came out and said, hey, listen, I'm very blessed to have a job right now. That, the standard has not been met, and we need to do a better job. And I think the way that he has approached camp, and based on what we've seen and the people that we've talked to, that it is a different attitude around here. And you can tell and sense that the pressure is there. And I think they enjoy the fact that this is something. And they've gotten the players out of the transfer portal that, in my opinion, that's going to not only help this football team get to where they want it to be, but it's a good transition year to see that incremental improvement. That's just my opinion.
Totally agree. Trent Dilford, if you haven't noticed in the things that he said, because he's implementing them, whether he's reaching out to former coaches, former teammates, people that he respects in the business, from the pro ranks, the college ranks, maybe high school, he is not afraid to listen. He doesn't think that he's the smartest guy in the room. And he's, I think, a big slice of humble pie. And he would tell you this since he got here and kind of navigating his way through it. He is looking for answers and solutions. And that's what you saw him having to part ways with good friends and colleagues and go and find guys that he believed fit this program, fit the culture, but ultimately was going to make it better. And I believe that that's the case. How many wins and losses that means, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's hard to say how much that's going to translate to W's, because he brought it up during the interview. Things are going to happen. Turnovers are going to happen. Certain things have to happen. It's very difficult winning a football game, period. No matter what program it is.
Nope. Doesn't matter who you're playing.
No, it doesn't. Hence Vanderbilt versus Alabama. Oklahoma versus Alabama. Things happen. But
Northern Illinois, Notre Dame.
But I will say this. The vibe that I got today from being here at practice is completely different from last year.
Yeah.
And whether that is going to translate to a bowl team, I don't know. I can't predict that. But I could tell you, based on what I've seen and the attitudes of everyone involved, I think they are heading in the right direction.
They've recruited that culture, and just from the three individuals that we've had on and how they carry themselves on and off the field, they've recruited that culture. But, yeah, the other thing that I got since from Coach Dilford, he's tired of talking about fluff. He's tired of talking about it. Let's go and do it. Let's go and do it.
Yeah.
You heard the frustration in post-game press conferences last year where they have great weeks of practice, but it's not translating to Saturdays. So what does a UAB fan that pays money to go sit in the seat when they see, well, they don't get to watch practice. So what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? I think that's where he is. It's time to prove it. But in his third year, you know what? It's also time for Hugh Freeze to prove it at Auburn. Kalen DeBoer's got to prove it at Alabama in year 2.
Yep. Huge investments across the board in all these programs. So we're talking about the Michigan situation. The NCAA, they had a Zoom call just a while ago. We've been able to capture a little bit of the sound. So one of the questions asked to the Committee on Infractions was why the vacation of wins was not considered. Take a listen.
Vacation of records is only in play when there's ineligible competition. That was not a factor present in this case. And so, it was not a penalty, in other words, that could be considered, and we did not impose it.
Well, I was just going to add that in addition, the NCAA took very quick action once it was apprised of the possibility of these violations, and therefore there was insufficient evidence in the record that the outcome of games was affected.
That lady did not sound as sweet or didn't have quite that southern tinge, but I sensed a little bit of Evie.
Evie Van Pelt?
Yeah.
Quite a difference from when the Committee of Infractions told Alabama that they were staring down the barrel of a gun.
Yeah, a little bit different.
And they were about to get the death penalty. Meanwhile, NCAA Chairman Norman Bay says Jim Harbaugh refused to turn over phone records and emails and refused to meet with the NCAA. Hence the 10-year show cause for Jim Harbaugh.
Harbaugh's such a weird guy. I could see there being nothing relating to this case on the text, but just weird text in general that he wants nobody to see.
Now, I've told you this story before, and granted, I agree with you in regards to his degree of strangeness at times. I know guys that were recruited by him, and his relationships with those recruits was incredible. Like, this guy, he knew how to recruit. He knew how to tap in to that friendship. And there was a lot of good old Southern boys that had Michigan pretty high up. And there was not a Friday night that didn't go by that Jim Harbaugh, when it was legal, he was texting, calling, communicating, doing those type things. He was an individual that absolutely knew how to recruit at Michigan.
I think he genuinely loves the student athlete. I do think he genuinely loved the college game. But Jim Harbaugh genuinely loves people. And if you're going to be a great recruiter, especially in this business, it does start with relationships. It might end with a financial dollar amount, with a guy opting to go somewhere else, or maybe it's closer to home. But guys like that, you hate to see them if you're an opposing recruiter, because they're going to be in on a lot more guys than your average coach, because it's like you said, they identify something about that player. They gravitate to it. Not saying that it's disingenuous, but they're relationship people.
So more Norman Bay from the NCAA Committee on Infractions. He kicked off the news conference this morning by talking about you don't put together individuals called the KGB unless you intend to gain a competitive advantage. So that's what Connor Stallions, that's what he called them, the group, the KGB, the counterintelligence group that Connor Stallions put together.
I know that he served in the military and he went to the Naval Academy, but would it surprise you if he still puts on like combat gear and goes and plays capture the flag?
Like he does it on Saturdays before Michigan games?
Maybe. Puts camouflage paint on his face. He's just calls them the KGB. Okay.
Now, what's the story you told me that when you were at was it the Naval Academy or
Yeah.
West Point?
It was the Naval Academy.
Naval Academy?
Yeah.
Where when that investigation was going on, you ran into some folks in the Naval Academy, and they were very familiar
Well,
with Connor Stallions.
I had to ask. I did when we got up there, because it was the photo, the still screenshot on the Western Michigan or Central Michigan sideline, and this one person that is employed there said we had a group text going on when they showed the picture, and everybody on the text immediately with emojis said, that is 100% Connor Stalions standing on the sideline. And then went into his affection, borderline creepy, crazy, fanatical, maniacal with Michigan. But I can tell you the folks at Navy were none too flattered by what had transpired with their former cadet, if that surprises you at all.
No. Sorry, I was having a...
What's going on?
Just having an issue over here.
We get Stark Exterminators over here.
Yeah, just all sorts of things trying to fly into my computer. We're good now.
Yeah, but they were not too flattered. So
yeah,
he's got issues.
Big time. We are live at UAB Football. If you'd like to participate in the program, you can give us a call, 1-800-239-WJOX, the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. .1234, this is Jox, three-man front. We are live at the UAB football facility. We attended practice this morning. Was able to watch practice. We had Trent Dilford on a whole 30 minutes. If you missed that interview, just a great preview of the season and how he's trying to get this program to take that next step forward as he starts year number 3. You can download the Three-Man Front podcast hopefully you can go back and you can listen to that in its entirety. Braves win last night 4-3 over the New York Mets. They come from behind to do so, 4-3, improving to 7-3 on the season against the New York Mets. Matter of fact, they're 2-1 at Citi Field. Atlanta has won 6 of 8. Ozzie Albies, 3 hits, 3 RBIs. Harris, another 3-hit game. Elder's best start of the year for the Braves. So Atlanta now continues the 6-game road trip. Right-handed pitcher Hurston Waldrop, been impressed by him.
Yeah,
he's looked good. He's looked good.
Below 2, sub-2 earned run average. And he's got 2 wins, so we just keep throwing out guys that a lot of people don't know who they are.
Yeah.
But why not? If you're getting wins, they're gonna mess around and win 70 games this year, Pat.
Yeah, and you predicted that they were not going to win 70 games.
Well, we still got 17 more wins to go.
Yeah.
But
and we're talking baseball because our next guest
yeah,
is a huge baseball fan. I understand.
Coach Steve Russ, defensive coordinator, UAB Blazers. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How you guys
doing?
Great
to see you.
Hey, thank you for having me. I love some baseball, guys. You guys, Braves, Cards.
That's right. Braves and Cardinals.
Yeah,
that's right.
I got quite the dichotomy. I grew up in Wisconsin my whole life. Obviously, my family.
So you're Brewers fan?
Stetsonville.
Stetsonville, Wisconsin.
Yeah, 78 degrees right now, by the way.
It's beautiful. It was
just
like
rub it in, Coach. Rub it in.
It was low 50s. My dad tells me every time it gets down in the 40s and 50s in the summertime. But
so you were a Brewers fan growing up?
So yeah, Brewers fan, big Brewers fan growing up.
Back when they're in the American League.
Yep. Huge. We didn't have TV. We had 3 channels, right? It was never on. So big Bob Uecker fan.
Yeah.
Rest his soul.
Yes.
So, outside, parents didn't let 6 kids in the house in the summertime unless they were eating or going to bed. So my dad had this portable, little radio. We'd stick it in the window of the garage, and you'd hear Bob Uecker calling games.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a huge radio guy. I love what you guys do. I love being on the radio. It's my favorite form of media. But yeah, the Brewers. So I've got a dichotomy though, because I live, my home's in Colorado now, being an Air Force Academy grad. My wife's Academy grad. Daughter just graduated there. Son's playing baseball there now currently. So we have a home there, and so 15 years, 16 years living in Colorado. I'm a Rockies fan, so I've got the best team in the league, and I got an embarrassment team in the league. And then I'm being in sports and whatnot, I'm not a big fanboy, but I'm a self-proclaimed, self-admitted fanboy of Paul Skeens. I mean, you talk about.
Oh man, he's something else.
Air Force Academy guy and LSU and everything that he's done. I mean, I got the MLB pass. Anytime he's on, I'm trying to watch.
Pat, I told you were going to love this guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Let's talk baseball.
Total fanboy. I mean, you guys want to talk baseball? I love it, man. It's pretty cool. Brewers on a 12-game win streak right now, trying to keep it going against. I don't know who they got. They got.
Is it the Reds?
It's the Pirates got the Cubs. Yeah, it's the Reds.
It's the Reds.
Pirates got the Cards.
Actually, we got the Yankees this weekend.
Do you?
Yeah.
Who
at
has
Busch.
The Cards then? The Rockies just played the Cards.
Yeah, don't bring that up.
Well, yeah, you took 2 or 3 at least. I mean, but you did let them.
No, you took 2 of 3.
Oh, we took 2 or 3.
Yes.
You've been busy doing the stupid football coaching thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, man.
Yes.
That's really bad.
How about that? You went 220. Hey, 220 games without a shutout. Then you shut us out at Coors Field. Then you come to Busch, and then you shut us out again.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Sorry.
Well, it is.
The Rocks, man. Oh,
it is.
That's some good years. The Bichette years.
Andres Galarraga.
Yeah, Andres Galarraga.
When they had when they
Vinny
had,
Castilla.
Charlie Blackmon and Nolan Arenado had a great run there when all those pitchers that they still
Hey, you want Nolan back?
Yeah. It's okay. The Rockies did pay you Cards a bunch of money to take him. So,
yes.
And Austin Gomber has been hurt a little bit, but that was the main guy in the trade. But yeah, I'll talk some baseball now.
Oh yeah, we need to have a weekly segment where we just talk baseball.
Yeah.
Don't talk
with UAB
football.
defensive coordinator.
Yeah. What do I know? I get to be a fan.
All right, let's talk football.
Yeah.
First year here on the South Side, you get the call from Coach Dilford. How much? Maybe arm wrangling did he have to do to get you down here?
No, I mean it was actually pretty cool. I knew the job was available and was like, well, I don't know Trent, Coach Dilford, I don't know him very well. And a few days went by and I was actually in Mass. I was volunteering at back of my alma mater at the academy because I was still under contract with Washington. So watching my daughter play, being some family time for the first time in 24 years, but still staying in it, getting back in the college game, helping my good friends at the Air Force Academy that are there that I absolutely love. They're like family. And but I would go to mass in the morning before I would start working, and I was sitting there, and all of a sudden just it kind of dawned on me, like God was like, hey, call Trent Dilford. And I was like, I don't even know how to get a hold of him. So, I'd coached with Major Applewhite, head coach at South Alabama for a while, just a little while, way back in the day at Syracuse. So Major and I had stayed in touch, and I thought maybe head coaches in the state. I said, hey,
everybody knows each other, right?
Yeah, and he's like, no, I don't, but, I know Mort pretty good, and see if I can't. And so he got me the number. I threw him a text, hey, you don't know me, and da-da-da-da-da. And then, unbeknownst to me, Major sent Trent a text and said, hey, I don't know if you got a guy, but take a look at this guy. Because it had been probably a week into the search, and nothing, and then I texted one more time that evening, or maybe the next day on a walk, and he hit me right back, and he said, you forgot to mention that I kicked your butt when we played each other, Fresno State versus Air Force back in the day. We were both juniors.
Right.
He went out early, and I obviously had another year, but and then we just started talking and got into the interview process, and it was really, really cool because it wasn't a lot of arm wrangling going on. Trent is very, very transparent, very, very forthright, very, very upfront, and we're very like-minded in a lot of things, and I thought that we hit it off, and I really like things that are like try to fix things. I feel like I'm better at that maybe than try to keep something going all the time. Or the challenge was very appealing to me, and felt like it was a good place with good people, and thought that this is a place that we can certainly get this turned around and get it going in the right direction. It's going to take a lot of work, and we still have a long way to go, but it's been a really fun challenge, and I've been really, really pleased and very, very grateful for the opportunity.
When you got here to UAB, Coach Dilford told you this is your baby. Do it. Put your hands all over it. This is going to be your blueprint. Describe that, because when you had first gotten here, it was still the winter months, and I was talking to you. You had not gone through a spring. You still didn't know who the completed roster was going to be. Heck, you didn't even know who your entire side of the ball, as far as coaching staff, was going to be at that point. Now, advancing forward to where we are now, kickoff's right around the corner, kind of encapsulate the –
yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we needed to fill tons of roster spots, and, I had never worked the portal before, kind of fell back on the draft process that we would do. So, the interviews and all that kind of stuff, because it's really about the right players. It's not always the best players, and I know maybe some fans will not be happy about hearing that, but it's true to me. My dealings with the academy, my dealings with Ron Rivera, it's about the right players. And sometimes the best players aren't the right players. And we need the right players if you're going to play the game the way we want to play. And obviously worked with the personnel staff really closely to try to get going on this, and at the same time tried to hire some guys. Just really blessed and grateful, for the opportunity and the help that Coach Dilford had, but also the freedom to be able to do it. The guidance to be able to help me when I had questions, and obviously he's didn't take his hands off the wheel completely, but did everything that you would want a head coach to do as a coordinator to allow you to do it, and hire the people, and I got really, really, really fortunate to be able to have the coaching staff that we've assembled, and the pleasure and just the absolute honor to work with some of these guys. Some of them I had worked with before and known very, very well, and I think the world of them. Brett Fieselmeyer could do my job probably better than me in a heartbeat. He's fantastic. Just an unbelievable coach, teacher, resume. Sam Mills, I think, is the best D-line coach in the country. I mean that with a straight face and all sincerity. John Celestin, our linebacker coach, I coached at the Carolina Panthers. Just going to be a rock star. Ryan Lewis has had a ton of success, as a coordinator down in Alabama State and some other places. And T. Mitchell with his, he's got coordinator experience under his belt. He's one of the rising coaches in this business. NFL experience with the Jags. Was a great player at Mercer. And Matt Wright and his whole analytics staff. I couldn't be more fortunate to be able to work with those guys. they certainly. It's one of those deals you can't do it. Coordinator, head coach is as good as his assistants, and a coordinator is as good as. I mean, it's not one guy. I mean, maybe a rare occasion of Vic Fangio can saddle that or all that, but that's not me. I won't profess to be that. So it takes a group effort, and I'm going to certainly lean on those guys and all that experience, and it'd be foolish for me not to. You don't take great coaches like that and totally micromanage them. You just try to get everybody pointed in the right direction and on the same page, and set the table for them to do what they do best, and that's what they do every single day. And it's been fun to watch the evolution of where we started when we come off the field that first true practice, and you're like, good Lord, do we have some work to do? And then we're starting to dial it in, and every day you walk off and you're like, oh my goodness, we've got so long to go, because the closer you get to game day, the monopoly money goes away and real cash goes on the table, so to speak. And you don't put the ball back down. If it goes 76 for a touchdown, you just go, oh, okay, so that's what we're working toward. We got a little bit ways left. We're trying to make the days count, not count the days, and see how good we can be, and just continue to band together, play the game the right way. And if we play fast and we play confident and we know what we're doing, and play with good fundamentals, I think good things will happen, even if maybe we're always not in the right spot.
Coach, you got a minute? Can you hold?
I'd love to stay.
Fantastic. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more with the defensive coordinator Steve Russ right here on Jox. It's 12:49. Just a great conversation with Steve Russ, the new defensive coordinator here at UAB. So, Coach, I am curious because I'm going to be as honest as I can. Last year's defense for UAB was porous. So when you come in as the new guy, and I know it's a different roster than it was last year, do you go back and you review anything from last year that the unit or the ones that are remaining? Do you go back and look at any of that, or you come in with your own plan and you got who you got and then you build from there?
Yeah, we came in and obviously you look at the roster, so you watch, so you see who's coming back, what they can do, etc. Get a feel for those guys, and then you talk to people in the building or coaches that were left or some of the players about, maybe some of the things that went wrong, just maybe some landmines that are out there, some issues out there maybe that you want to have the whole picture on. But at the end of the day, you want to bring in your ideas, and that's where Coach was great about, hey, look, your ideas, your plan, your system. There's so much more to it to me than just X's and O's. It's a system. And I always tell the guys, that how and why has got to be greater than what. Everybody does what in some way, shape, or form. This blitz, that coverage, man, zone, whatever, this stunt. That's the what. And if you don't understand, if you can't do that, they understand the how and the why behind that and do that well, what doesn't matter. So, we went to work on that. And I've been in this business long enough where, 1 year you're, top 5 in the NFL, and the next year you're 32, so I don't, throw stones. I've had really good years. I've had really, really bad years, and some years that were good, I really didn't think I did a great job coaching maybe. And some years that weren't so good to the eye, man, I thought coached my butt off, you know what I mean? And so you try to stay out of them wins, losses, and all that kind of stuff. And it's easy to say right now, right? Nobody scored a point on us. Nobody scored, nobody's recorded a yard. I mean, that's going to all end soon. But at the end of the day, you've got things in a system that you believe in, how you do things, why you're doing those things. And you have a vision of what you want your team to look like. I told guys, I said, you can actually see and feel people playing the game with great energy and confidence and speed and decisiveness. I mean, you can see it jumps off the film. And, at the end of the day, we want our guys to play fast. We want our guys to play confidently. We want our guys to play together. And we want our guys to have a lot of fun. And, if you do that, very rarely do you play bad defense. You still got to know what to do and all those kinds of things. Don't get me wrong. But that can create or can make up for a lot of other limitations maybe in other areas.
So if there's one identifiable trait right now that you feel good about already with that side of the ball with your group, what would it be?
I think that we're getting much, much better at playing fast. And when you play fast, I know it's nebulous and not very specific, but when you play fast, when you play the game fast on defense, guys can be potentially out of position. Somebody can be lost. Somebody can be in the wrong gap, whatever. And it's just like a bunch of hyenas or wolves. They're just packing, guys making overlap and, flying around. Good things are happening, as opposed to guys, I am doing my job. And, if you don't go 11 for 11, something bad happens. And, sure, we want to go for 11 for 11, meaning 11 guys doing their job perfectly and their offense not, having the advantage on everybody. But that's just not realistic in this day and age of football. So, we've got to be able to play fast. And when you do that, if the ball does get out, minimize it, and that's what we're working on too. The ball's going to get out. It's modern football. If it does get out, minimize it, put the ball down, let's play again, be situationally aware. Is it third and short? Are they going to fourth down? Where are they on the field? Okay, they move the ball a little bit. It ain't the end of the world, guys. Let's bone up in the red zone and hold them to a field goal and a takeaway. Just developing that mindset of persevering no matter what. And if they punch it in the end zone, all right, let's reset. Let's get back to the next one and let's go again. We don't want that to happen. We're not happy it happened. But how do we handle those things? Because it's going to happen. I mean, I guarantee you it's going to happen. And some games will be better than others. And at the end of the day, our job on defense is to hold, the opponent to one less point than we score, and that's playing their defense. Can we hold their offense to one less point than their defense holds our offense? And some days in this modern age, it might be a shootout. Some days it might be a tight game,
Yeah.
whatever. You want to play complementary football and do what you're supposed to do. So that's what we're looking to do. We play fast, good things will happen.
That's right.
Well, Coach, I can't thank you enough. Extended conversation with you, and anytime you want to come back and talk football or baseball,
I love it.
You are always welcome to.
I love it.
You going to be on the field or in the press box this year?
No, I'm on the field. Guy.
Good. I thought I remembered you saying that.
Yeah, I want to be down there and see eyeballs.
There you go.
Easier now, too, with all those iPads and the technology and stuff.
That's
that
right.
you lose.
Yeah. Coach, thank you.
Guys, thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. That's Coach Steve Russ, the defensive coordinator here at UAB. One more hour to go. We'll talk about the offensive side when we come back. It's 1 o'clock. Welcome back. It's the fourth and final hour of the week. Man, it's been a quick week. Just think, when we come back on Monday morning at 10 a.m., it'll be game week.
There's another reason I love football season. Our weeks just go
zip by.
Yep.
If you're in the Trussville area tonight, stop on by and see me and Molly.
Oh.
You going to be in Trussville tonight? Come
Are
on
y'all,
by.
are you performing a duet at the local?
We can if Coach Floyd wants us to.
Local tavern? Yeah. You have a jamboree game, right?
It's more like an inner scrimmage type deal.
Okay.
You know, not another school's coming, but kind of turn the equipment on, test everything out. Molly has a lot of high standards, a lot of things that we have to meet requirement-wise.
Did you get the air-conditioned trailer for her to?
She needed a bigger trailer from last year.
Yeah.
Pat, I'm glad that you got the list of all of my demands for tonight.
Yeah, we got it.
She wanted the dual sinks with the dual vanity.
Yeah, it's just. She said the lighting wasn't good enough last year.
She's a lot.
Yeah.
I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, that's right.
But she's worth it. Because if she wasn't worth it, we wouldn't have her back.
So tonight, you will spend until the wee hours of the morning. What you will?
No.
No. Are fans coming to this, or
yes,
is it
absolutely.
just you guys?
No, the whole town's shut down.
It's the whole town going to be there?
It's a big deal.
So it's Huskies versus Huskies.
It's Husky night.
Okay.
Where literally you've got.
Will we learn anything about Hewitt? Is this going to be like all the other games that we see, where Coach Floyd's going to be close to the vest and we're not going to get anything?
I would say you're probably not going to get much. Sorry.
I don't want to see a whole lot of vanilla.
Sorry.
I want to see flair.
1 week away, man. They play next Friday night.
It's hard to believe. Where do you guys play?
At home.
Who do you play?
Jag.
Oh, okay.
From Montgomery.
All right.
Are you on the road?
Yeah.
Sparkman, right?
Yeah.
You're basically in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's Harvest, right?
That's Harvest. Buckhorn is New Market.
New Market. See, that's another one that I always get. New Market and Harvest. Those are the two that when we had to go play Buckhorn and Sparkman those 2 years that we were in that region.
I know one time Sparkman, they were one of the largest 6As.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
I think that we had
there's 7A
here in the state.
There's 7A.
Yeah, but we open up there. So why not just go ahead and get the long road trip out of the way until the playoffs?
There you go. Sounds good. I was just reading just a few moments ago. It appears that Vladimir Putin has landed in Anchorage, Alaska.
Ooh.
Kind of a big meeting going on this afternoon.
Well, it could be a long meeting. It could be a short meeting.
Yeah.
The short meeting is not good. You want this thing to is Bob Kraft going to be there asking back for his Super Bowl ring that Vladimir Putin
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
He showed it to him, and then Putin put it in his desk.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, earlier today, the University of Michigan, they dodged a big old bullet. No postseason ban for them on the Connor Stallions situation. Jim Harbaugh did get a 10-year.
Putin would love Connor Stallions.
Oh, yeah, he'd love him. Put him in the KGB. 10 years show cause for Jim Harbaugh. 8 years show cause for Connor Stallions. Sharon Moore gets a 2-year show cause, a 3-game suspension. So he's got 2-game suspension this year and then 1 for 2026. And Denard Robinson, former quarterback, he was on the cover of EA College Sports, right?
Yeah.
I forgot what year.
I think so. Denard Robinson, wasn't he the quarterback in Michigan when they opened up with Alabama?
Might have been.
The Saban tenure?
Yeah, might have been. That was in Arlington.
Yeah.
He got a 3-year show cause. So they were just handing out show calls like a Pez dispenser.
3 years for him, 8 for Stallions, and then Harbaugh gets 10.
Gets 10.
Nobody else got a show cause?
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Harbaugh already had a 3 or 4 year show cause because of that hamburger deal. Remember when he bought a hamburger?
Yeah, that's right.
Remember that?
Yes.
Man, he's just all sorts of problems. No wonder he's in the NFL.
He loves it out there. He and the chickens.
Yes.
Living in L.A.
Very much so. Hey, congratulations to Pete Golding. Did you see the news? He got a new 3-year contract extension. He now is the highest paid assistant coach in the Southeastern Conference. A guy that
it's still
people
his
like
fault.
Conrad ran off.
It's still his fault. Who got more blame? Was it Pete Golding or Bill O'Brien?
Oh,
it was Golding.
Pete Golding. Are you kidding me?
It was definitely Golding.
It was funny because when Tosh LaPoy was the defensive coordinator at Alabama, and LaPoy, everyone was saying he was doing a horrible job. So hey, there's this other defensive assistant that's really he's the brains.
Yeah.
Like he's the guy that's really calling the shots. And then LaPoy left. They, gave Golding the job, and I thought Golding, the numbers supported. I thought Golding did a good job at Alabama. That was always an interesting conversation we'd have on the show. But anyway, he is now going to earn $2.55 million. He got a $300,000 raise from last year. Not bad, huh? LSU defensive coordinator Blake Baker previously held the mark as the SEC's highest-paid assistant coach after signing a 3-year deal with a flat $2.5 million salary in January of 2024.
Well, when Venables gets fired, he gets hired on as a DC somewhere. He will be the highest paid next year.
Oh, but the good news,
if he gets fired.
The good news continues for Pete Golding. His base salary is going to jump up to $2.6 million in 2026, $2.7 million in 2027, before his contract expires on January 31st, 2028. Now, he still has a ways to go to reach Penn State's defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, who signed a 3-year contract this previous winter. He's making $3.1 million a year as the defensive coordinator for Penn State. So
I remember when the $1 million threshold was eclipsed, and it might have been Kirby that got it. But that was such a big deal.
I didn't realize that Wink Martindale and Ohio State's Matt Patricia, they are now behind Pete Golding and how much they make. Yeah, man, coordinator money. That's good stuff.
And for Golding, it was ideal because you were able to go to a program that had no defense whatsoever. You want to talk about porous.
Yes.
But then a commitment, a financial commitment to go out to get players. You could sell what he could still go and sell what he was able to do at Alabama and the players that he coached to some of those guys. And Ole Miss, let's be honest, they are a lot better on that side of the ball now.
They were the third best defense in the SEC.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah. They gave up 311 yards per game last year. Tennessee and Texas were right ahead of them in the statistical category last year. So, yeah, so good for him. $300,000 raise. Not too shabby.
I worked with his former college coach. He was at Delta State, right?
Delta State, yep.
The Fighting Okra.
Sounds right.
But Coach Rick Rhodes said it was pound for pound the kid that you love to coach. That Pete Golding was great. He thought the world of Pete.
Nick Saban tells the story that Pete Golding was one of the best at getting on a whiteboard and drawing things up. Like he had that mindset. Saban was very complimentary of him. Another reason why he allowed him the opportunity to be the DC.
You know, it was muscle memory. What was funny, I was going to bring it up, was he got so much criticism, and then for the fans who weren't exactly dialed in, you would hear them criticize Pete Golding for Alabama's defense's performance the past weekend, not knowing that he was now at Ole Miss.
You still got blamed for it.
Yeah, that's when you know you're getting too much blame.
All right, so speaking of Ole Miss, so Ole Miss just lost a 4-star linebacker commitment, Isaiah Williams. Now, why am I bringing this up? He has flipped from Ole Miss to Florida State. FSU Dave must have helped out some NIL. Not really sure.
Greased the palm a little bit.
But the reason I bring up this 4-star linebacker, Isaiah Williams, back in November of 2023, he committed to Louisville. So follow the timeline here. In January, just a month and a half later, in 2024, he decommits from Louisville. 3 months later, he commits to Syracuse. 4 months later, he decommits from Syracuse. 2 months after he decommits, he commits in September of 2024 to Florida State. Then he gets to November of 2024. He decommits from the Seminoles. this previous March, he decides, you know what? I'm going to be a Florida Gator. Commits to Florida. He decommits in May away from Florida, commits to Ole Miss. Decommits from Ole Miss, and yesterday he now has pledged his allegiance for the second time to Florida State. So if you're keeping score at home, he's been committed to Louisville, Syracuse, Florida State twice, Florida, and Ole Miss, all within a time frame from November 2023 to August of 2025.
Maybe it's unfair to ask, but I'll ask it. Without knowing any particulars about this human being that you just told me his record, is that a red flag?
I guess for some schools it may. If not, it's about getting his paperwork filed in December on signing day.
So given the timeline that you just gave me, he will decommit from Florida State in November.
Yes.
And commit somewhere else, which will probably be his final destination.
Based on the history of this young man from November of 2023 when he committed to Louisville originally, decommitted in January. By April, he was at Syracuse. By August, he had decommitted. In September of 2024, he was a Seminole, decommitted in November, committed in March to Florida, decommits from Florida, commits to Ole Miss in May of 2025, decommits, and yesterday says, I'm going back to Florida State. So there you go.
If I'm the agent or whoever's putting together his deals, I'm a little bit frustrated at this point. Or maybe it's just copy and paste.
And it's one thing's for
just
sure.
Just delete, copy, paste.
This situation is, I'm sure that there's a million of these.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he has something tragic that has happened in his life that's causing this, or he's got issues going on right now off the field. I have no idea. But I wonder if he has a girlfriend. Has he had a long-term girlfriend?
Or he got a certain base bid from Louisville.
Yeah.
Syracuse went $5 over, like the Price is Right. Then he goes to Florida State, gets a deal there, and decommits in November because the Gators give him a better deal. And then Lane Kiffin comes in, and Pete Golden said, hey, we can do better than Florida. He gets that deal, and then Florida State says, well, we're going to circle back because Norvell changed the whole defensive staff. I mean, he's a linebacker. So
I'll tell you what it was. Guarantee you. It was, you know what, guys, this is how we're going to seal the deal with this kid. Nobody's brought this up. Why have we not brought this up? He's not going to have to pay state income tax.
Good point.
You point out the tax benefits to this kid.
So he has now been committed.
Because at this point, he's got all the swag he needs.
3 times to a school that had no state income tax. I assume that Kentucky, and I know the state of New York has.
If I'm Norvell, I'm like, look, you're committed, you're all in, you're holding the flag, and you're leading us out of the tunnel against Alabama.
Yes. 1-800-239-WJOX. Let's go to BB. She wants to join the frivolity here on a Friday.
Hey, BB.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're great. How are you?
Are you there?
Yeah, we're great. We're just sitting under a pavilion.
I know. I was hearing all those sirens, wondering when you guys are going to be slapped in bracelets and hauled off.
We are literally a long pass away from the Birmingham Fire and Rescue Service, Fire Station number 2.
Thank you, first responders. Waving at them right now.
Yeah, they've been busy this morning.
They
A
have been.
lot going on down
Yeah.
there.
Well, I just want to say I can't be more excited about going into the starting week of football. Last Saturday was our Chelsea Blue and White Day.
Right.
Like your Trustville
Husky
Jubilee
night?
coming up.
Yeah, was it Hornet
Yeah,
night? Was that what they
Husky
called it?
It was, yeah, Hornets Blue and White Day, all day affair, and God, it's so much fun. The whole community comes out, and I just have to tell you, Pat, my 6th grader, his team, which effectively that's still a rec team, they played Trustville in their game last Saturday and beat the poop out of them.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Just watch out for Chelsea. And the last I heard, we were supposed to have a scrimmage tomorrow with Helena, and they backed out because they were afraid of it.
Afraid?
So Chelsea's coming.
Oh, wow.
Go Hornets.
BB talking smack in football season. I love it. It's fantastic.
I love it. It's such a great time. Y'all have a great weekend and enjoy your night tonight, Pat.
Thank you, BB. Thank you so much. You too. Hope you have a nice weekend. Very much.
I'll enjoy it from the comforts of my couch, my air conditioning.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Is he on the water, Molly? Where is he? Okay, Don. Yeah, Don. He's about to go on a cruise. Or he might be on the cruise.
What's up? Not yet, Pat. What's up, guys?
Are you in Key West? Where are you? Or New Orleans? Where are you departing from?
No. I'm still here in Birmingham.
Greyhound station.
PG's put together a little send-off party for all of us today, and several people.
You guys party more than anybody.
You find more excuses to have get-togethers and parties than any group I've ever been around.
Well, I mean, we're a fun group, and hey, Pat, if this is all y'all's fault, y'all created this monster group that I'm a part of, and I love being a part of it. Social Taco Tuesday is what did this. That our listening crew. Now, if I can get FSU Dave there, I'll be shocked. Okay.
What's FSU Dave doing? Is he like watching old Charlie Ward videotapes at his house? Like, what's he doing?
No, he gave up PG hell because Florida State beat Florida in the sport that nobody cares about, in soccer. Okay.
Oh boy! So when you getting on the boat? When you heading south?
Sunday afternoon, buddy, and I plan on calling you guys. I talked to you about this already. I'm planning on calling y'all from the beaches of Key West on Tuesday.
That sounds great. Well, Don, great to
do
hear
it from
you.
the most southern point. Do it there.
Lander, we got a cabana rented on the beach already for the complete day on Tuesday. But I promise I'll keep all the pictures clean, guys. Okay. I will.
Sure.
But hey, Pat, can you believe that they're letting Michigan off this easy?
I mean, unfortunately, I can, Don. I was not anticipating them getting hammered, but I was kind of hopeful that I would be proven wrong, but I wasn't. But yeah, it's just the way the world is now in the NCAA.
Well, that $20 million, that dadgum billionaire that bought Underwood, he'll pay the whole $20 million for him probably.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, listen, they had that $20 million in an account ready to be transmitted to the NCAA immediately. Like that was.
Oh, absolutely.
They're just laughing. I mean, they're having parties galore in Ann Arbor today.
Okay, well, real quickly, guys, I just want to tell y'all thank you for everything, and I am gonna. It's kind of breaking my heart. I'm not gonna be able to be there next Thursday, but Pat, Landrum, Molly, and I thank you guys for everything, man. Y'all have got our family, our Social Taco family. We are a family, and guys, it's all because of y'all. So thank y'all very much.
Well, Don, that's very
Thanks,
kind
Don.
of you to say, but it's you, the listeners, that make that event. So we appreciate you, and have a good weekend. Thank you so much. We will continue with your calls. We're going to talk to Alex Mortonson, the offensive coordinator for UAB. He's coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're live at UAB Football on Jox.
122, three-man front, live from UAB. We appreciate Coach Dilford, Ted Feely, all of those involved hosting us as our college football campus tour comes to a close. We're just 8 days away from the start of the college football season. Speaking of football season, no better place to win cash while watching sports. You can join millions of users. Sign up today with our friends at Prize Picks. It's really simple. You download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WJOX to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even have to win. That's code WJOX to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's really simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projection. If you get your picks right, you can cash in, win up to 2,000 times your money. Tonight we will go professional baseball. I don't really trust the NFL preseason in doing some of these, right? You just don't know, how long these guys are going to play. It's just really tough. So we will go baseball because there are some teams that are eyeing the playoffs and they're still playing for something, right? All right, I'm going to need your help on this, Pat. If I go, let's go William Contreras, catcher, Milwaukee Brewers.
Wilson's brother.
Runs, hits, RBI. Just a combination of all three. Does he go more or less than 1.5?
More.
All right. We're going more on that. Next, I will go pitcher strikeouts. Mackenzie Gore. Taking on the Phillies. 6.5, more or less.
Where are they playing?
They are playing at home in Washington, in D.C.
Okay. What was the
6.5 strikeouts. Mackenzie Gore, Nationals taking on Phillies.
less?
Does he strike out more or less?
Less.
You say less than 6.5 strikeouts. All right, if both of those projections with Contreras and Gore, they hit, I'm a winner. You can be a winner too. Download the Prize Picks app. Once again, code WJOX. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code WJOX. We appreciate our friends at Prize Picks. Can't wait for football season to start.
Let's go back to the phones at 1-800-239-WJOX. Robert wants to chime in on this player that I was telling you has decommitted 5 times so far in his early career. Hey, Robert.
Yeah, I was just talking about the serial speed commitment man there. It kind of reminded me of, I don't know how knowledgeable you are about your history, but during the Civil War, especially when the war got pretty advanced, especially in the northern states, the various state regiments would offer recruitment bonuses to entice men to join the Union Army. Those were back in the day. If you had $20 in your pocket, you were rich. And these guys, they had apparently quite a scam going on. Guys would sign up to get the recruiting bonus, and then a couple of days later skip out and go to another state and do the same thing there. The only trick was you just had to get your bonus and get out before you got shot.
Wow. Never heard of that, but it would not surprise me.
Oh, that was a very adventurous time.
No doubt.
Well, thank you for the phone call. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Yep.
Thank
Robert.
you. Have a good day.
You as
too.
well.
Thank you, sir.
Didn't realize that. I'm going from state to state back then. That would have been tough. Well, in some cases. I guess you go to the borders and you just cross over.
Yeah.
I was thinking travel. Logistically, it might be an issue.
I am still waiting word from Auburn. Remember last week had the same.
Yeah.
It's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Alabama tomorrow.
Is the young person that took the video that had to take it down, or are they at practice today?
I don't know, but it was. I was just really amazed at the number of people around the Southeastern Conference that was texting me yesterday and last night about that situation. And I hate to sound like a broken record. And listen, I'm the first person that would love to dance with more hyperbole than maybe is necessary at times. But what is the big deal about a coach throwing his visor in a practice?
Zero.
I just didn't understand that. I don't know. Maybe it's because so many people around the Southeastern Conference, whether it's SEC Mike or other people on the western side of the conference that just aren't Hugh Freeze fans, and they're looking for something at any point in time to ding him.
Well, if anything, I would say that Hugh Freeze usually doesn't show a whole lot of emotion. His press conferences, he doesn't.
I liked how yesterday he acted surprised that they saw him throw his visor. I'm like, really, Coach? Like, everybody's there detailing every single second and move made by every player, and then the coach throws his visor. You think that somebody's not going to pay attention to that?
Yeah. David in Pelham, he texted in and he says, I hope Coach DeBoer doesn't rip off his hood from his hoodie and throw it. Lord knows that's a sign of a terrible football team. Thank you, David.
What if he's out there with a collared shirt? Now, the videos I've seen, I think he's wearing the same attire he wore last year.
He's not going to cave yet.
Nah.
Joseph says, I would really love to come see y'all, but my route or route? Which way do you go?
I go route.
Ends at 14th Street.
Oh.
Asking, when are we going to do a remote in 5 Points?
We're close. Oh, if these fields could talk, Landrum. If the Ullman building right there could talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would they say about Pat Smith?
That I would leave class early.
Yeah.
And go about 5 blocks that way to the fraternity house and not go to class.
You and Andy Kennedy.
Andy, yeah. Matter of fact, that was the that's where Andy and I had history. Was the old man. Speaking of Andy, the University of Alabama Board of Trustees, they are meeting today, and I anticipate that the Board of Trustees is going to advance a contract extension for Andy Kennedy.
Sure.
So keep your eyes out for that. I think that will happen today, probably in the next 30 minutes or so. I think the board is meeting at 1:30. So they will meet, and I believe Andy will be rewarded. He has done an incredible job here at UAB.
No doubt. I think this year's going to be a special year.
Yep. So yeah, it's just news galore here on the South Side.
This text comes in. It says, I know it's off topic, but how cool was it back in the day tailgating, watching games back at Legion Field?
It was cool. It was also cool watching some of my fraternity brothers that played on some of those first UAB football teams literally taping themselves up in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
When Jim Hillier was the head coach.
Yeah.
And Jim's wife was one of the coaches. She was a special teams. She was a kicking coach.
Early memory as a fan going to an Iron Bowl, parking in some family's yard that we paid them to park in, but we got the bonus, and they had prepared a lot of food inside, and for an extra fee, you could go and tailgate inside the home.
I mean, who did not like going to Legion Field and parking in a total stranger's front yard? Who did not enjoy that?
Hey.
And not knowing whether your car was going to be there when you came out.
I told you this. I went to the bowl game with my family, and my stepdad, he had this old long car, and it probably, no kidding, weighed 3 tons. It was just real heavy, just one of the older cars. We parked it. We came back. Car was gone.
Car was gone?
Gone. Was moved like the equivalent of 8 spots over. They were making room because it was so long. They put 2 cars in.
So they picked the car up?
We don't know, Pat, to this day, how the car was moved.
That's great.
Yeah. Doors were still locked. Trunk was down.
They had to have picked
no
it
windows.
Up.
Had to have.
Yeah. Wow. What a great story.
And perfectly parked it somewhere else.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah. When we come back on Three-Man Front, the offensive coordinator of UAB, Alex Mortonson, he is going to join the program. That's next from the South Side. It is 1:35. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front as we are wrapping up our campus tour. We're at UAB today. Thanks to Coach Trent Dilford for hosting us here on site. We were able to watch practice this morning and able to have a long discussion with not only Coach Dilford but Coach Russ. And now we're joined by the offensive coordinator of UAB, Alex Mortonson. Coach, welcome to the program. Thanks.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
You missed in the introduction the guy who taught Nick Saban everything he knows.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Were you ever on the other end of one of those nice butt chewings by Coach Saban?
Of course I was. Yeah, I think anyone that worked there at some point you had one or multiple. But when I got there, I was a graduate assistant coach, and the way he did the GA, so I'm an offensive GA. I work with the quarterbacks, and I work with the receivers some. But I'm in the quarterback meetings. I'm with those guys all the time. But when you get to the season, I'd go through meetings with the quarterbacks, with the coordinator, and then we would go to the field, and I'd be with them in individual. But then when we got to scouted periods, his philosophy was the GAs should trade. So I would go to the defensive field, so I'm coaching the offensive scout team, and I'm coaching offensive players. And so, well, guess who else is over there? Coach Saban just so happens to be on the defensive field. So, yeah, so I certainly got, if things weren't right over there, he's going to hold you accountable for that in his way, and which was great. It was a great experience to see him coach and teach, and I certainly have some fun stories from that too. And then he gave me a pretty good one in youth camp one year.
Youth camp.
So, he coached youth camp like it was a Super Bowl. I mean, he really put a lot of effort into it. And this is like 14 and under. Did a great job coaching these kids. Like he really did, and it was awesome to see. But there's like 1,200 kids usually at youth camp, and one of the periods is we would do a 2-on-2, receivers versus DBs drill, and sometimes it was 3-on-2 depending on what coverage they're playing. Well, I want to do a good job for Coach Saban. I want to do a good job for the camp. So my whole thing was like, hey, keep the tempo of the drill running fast.
Right.
And so I'm helping organize the offensive side. So I'm getting it going as fast as I can. I am paying no attention to the defense. None. And then he turns around and accuses me of calling out-breaking routes when they're playing inside leverage man. And I'm like, Coach, of course I didn't say this, but I'm like, I have no idea what you're in on defense over there right now. This is 13-year-old youth camp. But he got after me pretty good then, too. So that was one of the funnier ones. I will say, and I apologize for getting a little long-winded, but
you're good.
A year later, same part of camp. So now I'm paying attention. And I'm doing the opposite. I find out the defense is playing inside leverage man technique, so I'm running in breaking routes, make it as hard for the offense as I can. And then when they change the leverage, I'm running out breaking routes. And so I asked Derek Ansley one time. I said, "Hey, what are you guys in here?" Because I lost track. And Coach Saban looked at me. He goes, "Why do you care what we're in?" I said, "Coach, I want to make sure we're not throwing out breaking routes in a blitz coverage." And he got the biggest smirk on his face, and he chuckled a little bit. And I said, "Okay, he remembers." So he had a good sense of humor about it. But yeah, there were plenty of those.
You got fall camp number 3 for you officially here at UAB. I'm not going to ask you to compare to the previous 2 seasons, but this group in particular, what do you like so far?
Love the intangibles of the group first. I feel like they're a lot of selfless guys, a lot of team guys, and a very hard-working group. That their practice effort's been really good, and so that would be the thing I really like. And I think every team is going through this challenge right now with the transfer portal of adding a lot of new guys to your team quickly. And I think you're trying to get them caught up on scheme and technique and your verbiage and all those things, but there's also this other thing of how quickly can you create chemistry and bond and play for each other and become a team and become one. And so that to me is, again, we haven't played a game. We haven't faced real adversity yet, so let's not count our chickens before they hatch in that regard. But right now that part feels really good to me. That's been my favorite part.
How do you feel about your QB1? Put up some great numbers last year. How has his fall camp been so far? You like his progression?
Really like Jalen Kitna's progression a lot. Jalen came to us and actually had not played a lot of football. Had not played football in a while, and then even then had not played a lot of college football. And so, he kind of got thrust out there in the middle of the season, and I think he was had some highs, made some spectacular plays, and also had some lows too. But I think his playing experiences really served him well and helped him, and he's learned from that. And he's a very talented guy. He's got a live arm. He's a student of the game. He's got some, for a long guy, he's got some fast twitch, some quick twitch qualities. So we were really pleased with him, and and looking forward to getting into a game week and really honing on a game plan. But he's done a really good job.
Has he naturally become, organically, I guess, a vocal team leader?
I think to a degree he has naturally, and but he kind of does it his own way. He's not, he's not an angry guy. He's not a I think he's able to have tough conversations when he needs to have them, but he's more of a guy that I think his teammates like him. I think they're drawn to him. I think he'll go have a side conversation with them if they need to fix something, and all these quarterbacks, the great quarterbacks, they all have different personalities, and I think he's kind of found his own way to do that. I really do.
In regards to, we talked to a couple of your offensive weapons this year. In regards to your running back, so you feel very good about what you have in that offensive line built behind him?
Yeah, we really do. Like the offensive line a lot. It's been. That's a position group that we added, a variety of guys over the course of May and through the summer. And so we've been trying to get them up to speed, one, trying to teach them and help them develop in our system. And then two, figure out, okay, what's the best combination of, maybe it's not 5, maybe it is, maybe we do play 6 or 7.
Right.
And then where do they need to play? Left or right, inside or outside? So that's been a challenge to try to accelerate, putting that puzzle together. But we really like the guys. Again, when you asked me earlier what we like about this team, guys being hardworking, selfless, tough, I think about that group that way. I really do. And they've been really positive, in their approach to work. So I'm really optimistic about, the offensive line from that standpoint and the leadership we can have there.
You're replacing talent, some speedsters from last year, the wide receiving core.
Yeah.
Guys that could make plays, and we saw it. You got some guys coming back. What does that particular room look like? What do you like about the wide receiver group this season?
Well, I think you did hit the nail on the head. I mean, a lot of these guys do need to go prove it in a game, right? And they need to go play in games and compete in games. But I do think we have good movement skills. I do think we have some guys that can run in there. So you mentioned losing some speed. I think we do have some speed. I think we've recruited some. I think we've had some here that we've developed that's been on campus for some time. And then we've got some guys that have really good short space quickness that, you get the ball in their hand or you get them in a short area. They're tough to get down or tough to cover. So I think the room's got a good mix of, it's kind of like putting a basketball team together sometimes, we're not real big, but we do have some bigger, thicker, stronger guys that can do some of those things. We've got some guys that can stretch the field vertically, and we got some guys that play really good in a short area. So I think the room is pretty well-rounded, I guess is the best way I could say it.
In regards to how this game has changed since you have been a GA to where you are now in your career, is it just amazing to look at how much the defensive schemes have changed and what you have to do to change yourself in regards to the way that you design your offense?
Yeah, I think, the game obviously changes, evolves. Some people would say it's even cyclical, because you have trends.
Right.
People adapt and then trends come back. And, it probably is a little bit different. And I would say even go back to when I was in college, it's really changed a lot. When, if you looked, a lot of people played in 2-back, 2 receivers in the game at a time, and people didn't spread out as much, and people didn't play at the line of scrimmage, no huddle as much. So the pre-snap operation has changed, and then the post-snap style of play is different. And I think, it's interesting you asked about when I was a GA. I GA'd in 2014 was my first year at Alabama, and we were kind of going through a transition where, we were going to change philosophically a little bit. And, at that time, Coach Saban was moving the offense to play a little faster and play a little more spread out and move the tight end around a little more and do some different things. And then, he was also in a conference where, you had Manziel for a couple of years. Auburn had, was fast. And so, Hugh Freeze was at Ole Miss. So, you watched him adapt his defense as well in terms of recruitment, body type, scheme. So, some of that stuff has been going on for, a decade or so, some of those things. But that being said, there is a little bit of a pendulum that can swing because it swings over here. Defenses get lighter and faster. You have to ask yourself, are there some advantages to putting 2 tight ends on the field and running downhill and getting under center and having actions off of those things that people don't see regularly as much. And there's usually on offense, there's an advantage sometimes to being different, right? You play one of these triple option teams, you don't practice against it all the time. It's different, right? And so, you've got to play to the strengths of your team first and foremost, but I think anytime you can play to the strengths of your team, be sound, be creative, but be a little bit different than everybody. So I guess as you see the trends, you got to ask yourself, will the pendulum swing back a little bit at some point?
Right. UAB offensive coordinator Alex Mortonson joining us here on Three Man Front on the Higginbotham Hotline. Got to ask you this. I don't know if you saw it. You've probably been so dialed in, but an offensive coordinator for Hugh Freeze made some comments the other day about the play calling, who was assigned to what duties. I'm not asking you to step in it here, but as far as people who have influence on calls, it's you. There's a collaboration. Obviously, the offensive coordinator, Coach Dilford, he's got an idea schematically, philosophically, what he wants to do. But as far as calling plays, is it you for 3 downs? I know that you guys confer on certain downs, or is it by association? Or by committee?
We've been here 2 seasons, and we've done it differently at different times. That's maybe something Coach Dilford would want to talk about more. I mean, but it has, we've collaborated. There's been times I've done it, or long stretches where I've done it, and then he's had oversight, and he'll step in and say, hey, let's use a gadget here. I think you got to think play pass here. Where I'll take the lead, and then there's been times, where he's called the games too. So we've done over 2 years, we've done both, and we've, talked a lot this offseason about how do we get the best of both of us. What does that look like? And I think, the calling of the game is one thing, and I do believe it's important. I think, how you call a game is important. There's no question. I tend to think Monday through Friday is more important, in terms of the preparation, the planning. What are we going to do? And then a lot of times, if you prepared properly, a lot of your calls are kind of, predestined to some extent, and you always reserve the right to change it based on feel of the game. The opponent adjusts. Maybe there's a matchup that's going better than you thought, maybe one that isn't going so well. But a lot of it, I think, the best systems I've been around, a lot of it is done during the week. And so I think us trying to figure out, okay, how do we have the best process Monday through Friday to prepare for the game and put a plan together is really even more important than game day.
What's the cutoff point for getting a play in? What with time on the clock, you say, hey, I want to run rip zip laser, and he says, no, let's go ground and pound left.
Right.
When do you guys? When's the cutoff point? Do you have a natural time on the clock?
Yeah. Well, the times when I've taken the lead, he kind of just lets me go, and then as quickly as he can, he'll chime in and say, think about this, or he'll try to get to me between a series, and say, hey, you ought to think about slipping this in at some point. Here's what I'm seeing. When he's taking the lead, then a lot of times I would rather maybe interject in between a series as well. So sometimes there's not a lot of deliberation, and you go back Bill Walsh, who's a famous head coach of the 49ers that won the Super Bowls. They did he was famous for his opening script, and he used to script, I think 12, and eventually became 20, 25 plays where you'd plan your openers, and you kind of stay on them until you get to a third down or until you get to the red zone, you get into a special situation. And so that's a way to do it too. So a lot of times when you've really planned well and you've scouted your opponent well, you've kind of, like I said, you've kind of already done it. So there's not a lot of deliberation on the headset about what the next call is. You kind of know what you're going to. You know what we're going to run first play against Alabama State already? I don't know that.
That is Alex Mortonson, the offensive corner at UAB. Coach, great to talk to you. Great to have you come by and spend
You're a great storyteller, by the way.
I don't know if I'm a great storyteller.
No,
but
you are.
There are some good stories out there from those years.
I hope you'll come back.
Love that. Love to come back anytime.
All right,
thanks, Coach. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach. More from UAB football. This is Jox 3-Man Front. I want to thank everyone here at UAB, their hospitality, Coach Trent Dilford, Ted Feely, Sports Information Director, all the coaches, players. Andy, thank you. Everyone, their hospitality, we appreciate it very much. Kind of make this a tradition every year, being able to come down here and witness practice as they get ready to – it's going to be here before you know it, a week from Thursday.
Well, like Pat said, it'll be football before we know it, so that means it's almost time for the Bill Smith Buick GMC Jox kickoff party. It's going to be at Regions Field on Thursday, August 21st, and the only way to go is by winning tickets. And it's important because today is the last day to qualify to enter to win a pair of tickets. So if you do want to win some tickets, text the keyword FINAL and your full name to 205-834-9450. Once again, the final keyword is FINAL. Text that in your name to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily, and for more information, visit joxfm.com.
So coming up Monday on the show, we'll have full recaps over the scrimmages from the weekend, including today's scrimmage down at Auburn. For the Auburn Tigers, will be scrimmage number 2. Alabama, they'll be scrimmaging tomorrow at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So we'll get some more information that we will share with you guys on Monday, on Reaction Monday. Conrad will be back. We'll have the full gang, as will be game week, as we'll be getting ready for Farmageddon in Dublin, as that will kick off the college football season. I'm excited this weekend because I am going to carve out some time to get on my R-Tech tractor. That's right, my zero turn. R-Tech tractor just north of Jasper on Highway 5. Get by and see Jeremy, Greg, and the guys. They're going to take great care of you. And right now, if you're in the market, you need some fluids or some filters, how about the sale they're having until the end of September? That's all oil filters and air filters, engine oil and hydraulic oil, 15% off there at R-Tech tractor. Don't forget Toro, Cub Cadet, Gravely, Bobcat, Spartan, residential to commercial grade mowers. How about tractors, Mahindra and Bobcat? Go by and see them, rtechtractor.com, just north of Jasper, Highway 5.
Most significant improvement you're going to see in the fall is between scrimmages 1 and 2. I don't know if that's the truth, but coming up Monday will be Reaction Monday. We'll react to Auburn's scrimmage reports we get from the Plains. Alabama coming up tomorrow, scrimmage number 2 for Kalen DeBoer and the Tide there in Tuscaloosa. And, of course, we'll keep tabs here on UAB as they are doing a light walkthrough after morning practices this morning. From all of us, all of you, have a great, happy, and safe weekend. We want to see you here on Monday. God is great. Have a great weekend.